Live from the Streamline Mortgage Solutions studio, it's Orlando's own Tom and Dan.
Hello. This is your Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan program. We hope that you will find our presentation precise, joke heavy, and just right. Thanks.
Welcome to the Friday free show of A Mediocre Time.
Oh, man. Good morning, or good, what is it, afternoon? It's good afternoon, everybody. Hello. Welcome to another A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan podcast. I am Daniel.
I'm Tom. Samantha's here.
Hello.
Seth is on his way. He's late. Seth would be a bad employee, right?
Yeah.
Because he means what he called me. He's like, I'm sorry.
Does he care about doing this, or does he not?
Does care. He cares.
Although, yeah, he did call to let you know he was going to be tardy.
So
to
it
the
wasn't
party.
like a no-call, no-show.
So
Have we? I don't think we've ever had that. I don't think we've ever had... No, we've never had that.
well, I mean, again, it's kind of like a Kramer. The Kramer bit where it's like he gets fired and they're like, I don't even work here. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you were talking about Kramer.
So was
related
I,
to
and
the
I was
show.
like, he was late all the damn time.
Yeah.
No,
Oh my
no,
God,
no.
it used to drive me crazy.
Inward Kramer.
Yeah.
That
Wow,
kind of
I
Now-
don't think you should say it like that either.
No, okay, sorry.
Now
sorry.
I'm really
I mean,
confused.
he said the.
Oh.
I was like, I don't think I
no,
know
no,
it.
dude.
All right, I'm sorry. Anyway,
That might
Back
be
out of it.
That might be the single greatest 1 minute intro that we've ever done, where we walked into the show and I'm like, well, I'm
he
outta
screamed
here.
the N-word. He did. It ruined his
Michael
career.
He
Richards.
did, but then
Michael-
you just screamed N-word Kramer.
No, but he
which
said
was-
N-word Kramer.
Well, that's
and-
his nickname.
And you know what? And I'm not even mad at you. I'm more mad at me for thinking that I knew like what you meant. You know what I mean? Welcome to the show, everybody.
all right.
Hi.
If you order any piece of merch today, we're giving out the remaining OLE koozies from the event that I found in the back of our storage unit
Yes.
because I cleaned out our
Finally
storage
cleaned
unit.
it out.
I think we had shame punted them in there, right?
They're 5 years
remember?
old.
Do you remember? And I had logged this to talk about this morning. Do you remember the drive home? Do you remember the? I do. It was bad, because I was shit faced. I remember. Oh, it was bad. It's shameful.
Well, I drove home and embarrassed, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that's it.
And I remember. and
That's
I
like,
remember I
that's-
couldn't go to bed. I
we
remember.
made fools of
I remember I
ourselves.
couldn't go to sleep. I remember it was one of the only time that, and this is a true story. One of the only time that I've laid my head on my pillow and wished myself to death. Seriously, like
no,
where I
you do
was,
that all the time.
No, not like this. This was I used every, you know that trick you do when you're trying to like relax, or you tense up every muscle in your body, and then when you let go, you actually kind of relieve some pressure or chill out a little bit. This was like I was literally in tune with every cell of my body, wishing myself to death. I was so embarrassed, man. But yeah, you can get the last remaining. They're collector's items, or we're gonna tell you that at least at this point, right? These koozies.
Yeah, one would call it that.
Yeah, I mean,
And the opening,
we gave
the
them out
top
that
layer.
night. It's 5 to this day
Today,
today.
yeah.
The top
Which,
layer.
by the way, we'll give them out today and tomorrow because we promoted tomorrow
'Cause
too.
we're
by
bad at
accident.
business,
Bad.
Which goes along with
we
it.
are small team.
On brand.
We're fucking some things up. What I like about this, and I hope the first maybe 8 or 9 people that get these know what I mean, but the top 9 koozies are really dusty and gross.
There's Chex Mix dust on them.
Those are the ones you want.
Yeah.
Because those are the ones that were like in the bathroom where I peed in the shower drain.
Yeah.
They
With
were
the blood.
Toilet,
Yeah, with the blood toilet. Yeah. Oh,
So-
memories.
Yeah.
We drove past that the other day, and I did get flashbacks.
It's a mega church now, right?
Yeah.
That's fitting.
it's weird. They have
They
to
painted it like all black for a church, which I thought was odd too. But
Yeah.
It's a satanic church.
You know who told me
Oh,
about
then
that?
I'm
Edward
in.
Kramer told me about that.
wow.
They had to have bought that place for the property value in the future, right?
Yes.
And like a tax write-off or anything. That's how churches get
we should
rich.
start
by the
a
way.
church for real.
I mean, what do we need to do?
Holy Land's for sale, isn't it?
I mean, how do they judge whether or not our dedication to whatever deity we have is authentic?
Scientology ruined that. They got that religious loophole, and then the government locked it up after that. But they basically manipulated the system to become a tax-free entity to fucking make all the money.
We've talked about this before. Would it be impossible to start a new religion now, or did
No.
they just make it harder?
We can do it.
Because how do they-
We already have followers.
Because basically they're like, well, you're not doing that again. That's what they're going to tell us.
We give back to charity.
Because
Come on.
We do.
every business doesn't want to pay taxes. So if we can name ourselves some religious organization
Oh, yeah,
and
let's
the
do
tax
it.
exempt, because nothing would change. We'd still be able to get all of our income, or like not income, but pay ourselves.
Sure.
Like all the salaries would be the same, and then we just have to spend all our money. So there's no the business isn't profitable at the end, and you spend it all on a goddamn real estate.
Churches
and then
always
get
buy
mega
like
rich.
they always buy the equipment for like their sanctuary. You know, like a mixing console and then big TVs and nice microphones.
I guess I don't even.
Wait,
we should.
John Oliver started a religion here in Florida?
I think he did it as a joke.
Kind of like what we're talking
but-
about, I
but-
believe.
It's legit, though?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know anything about
I don't
it.
know if you
Christine
can get-
mentioned it in
Yeah,
our Twitch
that's
chat
interesting.
room.
I don't know if you can get be tax exempt and stuff, because then there's the whole
There's an entertainment purpose to his too that I think would like almost negate it. By the way, we're live on Twitch right now. Speaking of entertainment purposes, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live, and everything we do on Twitch, I upload a few hours later and throw it on YouTube for you. Just search Tom and Dan Live if you'd like to see the video component to this.
Two more other things. We're going to be out at Satellite Beach at the Villains local only Surf Fest.
Yeah.
It's 2-day event. Me and Daniel will be out there. The Eric Merchman, he's going to be out tomorrow and Sunday, and we're going to hit up the tent around 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, right around noon or 1, I'm going to be walking around out there. I know you're going to meet me to the tent around 1. So, hey, if you guys are looking for something to do and possibly want to see a cool surfing competition, we will be out there.
And then noon is a cutoff for our auction, our charity auction. So if you want to bid on anything, again, it's tomanddangiveback.com.
It's getting cutthroat in there about that boat trip.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I
I knew
saw
that would
that.
happen. I knew the truck and the boat trip to me are the ones that, that's the money.
Well, I saw...
Well, apparently the goddamn flight simulation is. It's over $500.
I mean, it's going to be fun. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we're going to have a good time, and I'm going to, I'll even buy a new plane that day. I'll let you pick out the plane we're going to buy, but I still got to figure out how to do that. Normally I do that nude, so it's going to be a little weird. It's the first time I'm flying with pants on.
Yeah, that's fine.
Normally I'm in some sort of like loungewear or pajamas.
But I saw
A lot of my baby fat gear that I still hang on to it.
Is Tony still trying to get the interview on the auction?
What's happening now?
Oh, I don't know. Tony was
The studio
bidding.
interview with you?
Tony
Remember?
Palmiotti
Yeah, he
was bidding on it?
He was bidding.
Is that how bad morale is here, that we have actual employees bidding to be interviewed?
He wants to come in and tell stories, and he feels that we've slighted him
told
throughout the
him he
years.
could
We did
call-
a Chatting with the Master.
We did,
I
yeah.
told
But he had more stories. He's like, I got
told
more.
him that if he
Anyway.
called 1-844-TOMNDAN and left his stories as a voicemail, I will play them.
Oh, I like that.
I'm serious.
I like that.
I
Like
have
a
told
series of
Tony.
stories.
This is not the first time I've told him, like, look, we don't want you in the studio, but you can call. You can call the number and just leave a message, and we'll play it.
I saw some
I'll even put
BDMs.
music underneath it.
They posted on the BDM page, and they're actual like boat captains or whatever. And
Yeah.
apparently, captain. I thought it was by passenger, but there's also by tonnage or something, because two different BDMs. Like, I'm also 100-ton certified.
Yeah, I bet you are.
Excuse me?
That's what it was like a 100-ton certified captain.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for checking in, Izzy. Great job.
And then they're like, I want to bid on it just so I can go there and look how horrible of a job
at
Tom
mine.
does. And I'm like, oh, I'll tell. Like, I'm not embarrassed by that. I tell you, I'm like,
The reason you know is because he tells us.
Yeah, exactly. He's open
like,
about it.
I'll crash at the dock.
It's no secret.
I'll have you be like, hey, you drive. I'll get shit faced.
Yeah, you're Mr. Tonnage. You
Anyway.
drive.
So, we got a new song by Jakal.
Yeah, we do. Jack, like, this is a weird It's like a weird phenomenon. I feel like for me and you, because normally we're not like, we don't have like parody guys that send us stuff. You know, like that's a new concept for me. I'm that guy. You know, like I guess Pariah Mike, but I know him, you know, like, so we have this guy, Jakal, who sends in songs. And I like the fact that he's not like my best friend or anything. I like the fact that
this is old school radio.
It feels very much like
it.
And I'm going to say what it feels like because this is our reality, but it feels very much Howard Stern-y. Like he's like, hey, we got to do, Sal sent us, what is the tape? And you hear the like, put the tape in. And then they put it in and it's like, Robin's got some big old titties. And I'm like, ooh, and they laugh. And ho,
that's how you do it.
Ho, and then Jackie Joke Man, ho. That whole thing, like, I don't know. I've got some serious nostalgia rooted in this, man. So we have a new song from the Jakal, and it's called Tom's Balls. You think and Seth Petrozelli here, everybody. He walked in.
What is that beard? What is that?
Oh my God.
Mini Hogan.
Hey, everybody. Wario's here.
It's because he got that big daddy motorcycle.
It's me. It's a muscle,
It's too thick.
No, I wanted it thick.
Off-putting.
The mustache, you gotta shave it down.
Seriously.
It's gonna be thinner on
You
top.
look like a pedophile.
You do look like a little bit.
Really?
A little bit, yeah.
I did it to scare. I did it to scare Tracy. Right?
Well, there you go. I mean, they all end.
That's what pedophiles do to little girls.
Yeah.
On brand.
You look like you've been eating the Sandman's butthole.
Mustache shaming.
Okay, I have to get some air back in me. Okay, so all right, Seth's here, everybody, with his new look.
I wanted something. I was in the shower and I looked in the mirror. I was like, I want to see something different.
Okay, all right.
There's
Hey,
probably something deeper to that.
Don't beat me up, man. All right. It's fine. It looks fine. It's good. You look good.
So,
You look healthy.
Seth, you want to hear a parody song? You like this shit?
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah.
It's
shit.
making fun of Tom.
Yeah,
So.
it's making fun
Okay.
of
I haven't heard
And
this.
that'll make me happy.
I believe this particular song is addressing the fact that we were on Inside Edition and you were wearing
Right.
some really tight
Dukes.
and your balls were visible.
Daddy Dukes.
Well, the
In the-
pouch, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
You're about to be 40. It's going to
You
get bigger.
have a, you
didn't
have
know
a
we were
fat
gonna-
pouch, dude. You got got fat balls.
and you were like sitting way back with you were man spreading on
yeah,
me.
you had fat balls, and they did that thing that balls can do where they flattened out. Your balls were flat like a sleep mask.
Well,
you know, like they were.
it was last
They were
minute.
big flat sleep mask
Because
balls.
when we went on to do it, then it was our normal
But
camera angles.
but I put everything when they asked us to go to the couch. Everything was
Yeah.
on the TV, so you could see it. And I felt
Well,
like
because
I didn't
thought-
know if you were doing. For a split second, I thought, oh, he's doing a bit, and then I'm like, oh, too dumb to do a bit.
Am
Am I right? Was
He
I
didn't
right?
have his glasses on. He couldn't see his balls from across the room.
Well, and I'm not used to sitting on the couch, and then I don't
Me
know
neither,
the camera
yeah.
angle of that. So
Well, you see it every day.
I
and
see
look,
it every time I'm in
yeah,
here.
he sits
look.
like that all the
I
time.
literally
There's
see
the
it.
main camera angle of the couch. See?
Yeah.
There it is. Like, you don't know that? You've never seen that before?
Okay.
That's all new. This is all new to you.
I'm not thinking because usually you can't see
Sorry,
me
that
from
was
the way.
disrespectful. You didn't deserve that.
The camera can't. Yeah.
I'm
the
very
camera
aggressive.
But me and Seth can.
No,
Or
I know. Well, I
anybody
do that on purpose.
Anybody on the couch, which is not.
Yeah, that is. I've been embarrassed.
No, we got
Like,
Indy
that-
coming in soon.
Oh
and-
yeah. She
Seth
definitely.
looks like he's playing Paul Sr. in a biopic. It's like he looks like the Paul Sr. the younger years when he's not tearing the door down.
He's just,
You gotta do more than the spiderweb bike.
Yeah.
Where's the spiderweb bike?
He's got two infants. One with shaggy, one fat, one with shaggy hair. The other one looks like him. All right.
All right,
so-
parody song, Tom's Balls.
God, I wish we had a screenshot of the actual image.
Okay, here we go. Here's the song.
Can you turn my microphone up? Okay, check 1, 2. Huh. Yeah. Huh. Here we go. I went to work the other day in my best business, Dukes. A day or two before, we'd done a killer interview. Before the show could even start, the word was coming through. Somebody found Bob Saget dead in his hotel room. Overconfident as usual, I said, take that telephone call. Some lady from the news wants to have a word with us all. With Samantha on my left and Danny Denny on my right, I manspread to the camera. My dukes were super tight. The fish see my balls. Twitch sees my balls. YouTube sees my balls. Can you see my balls? TMZ sees my balls. ABC sees my balls. But Inside Edition's got the best view of them all. The news sees my balls. Can you see my balls? If I move just this way, do you get a better view of my balls? The Crow says that I've got teeny tiny little balls. Oh, wow. But I've got the biggest balls of them all.
That's pretty damn good. Wow. Well done, Jakal.
Comes
Thank
from
you.
a good song.
Well done.
I'm not familiar with the parody song.
Oh, no.
Well done.
Yeah. I don't know. That's some old man shit, right?
No,
Me and Sam
he's
are
firing
I mean,
back.
I enjoyed it.
I'm not. We're in our 30s.
I didn't recognize it.
We're the only
Firing
people in
back.
this room that are still in their 30s.
That's true,
right?
yeah.
I'm just stating a fact.
It's honestly, you guys don't know who. I know you know.
I don't.
And I know. You don't?
I don't.
I've heard it before.
It's AC/DC.
Yeah.
What song?
Balls of them.
Big,
I don't know.
I think it's
the
Big
name.
Balls.
Big balls. Yeah.
Big Balls?
Don't know it.
They got balls to the wall. They do a
I
lot of
hate
ball songs.
AC/DC, so I
I'm not
try
a
not
fan.
to listen.
AC/DC is
I'm
the
not a fan
number
of
one
AC/DC
balls
either.
band, right? They're the balls band because they do.
Yeah.
They do. She's got me bad. Wait, she got you by the balls. She got you by the balls.
Oh, they
There's-
sing a lot about balls?
Yeah, hold on. Now you're sending me down a balls.
They were big on the Pop Warner like football field. Like everyone came out to AC/DC songs. Like,
God.
like Black and Black.
Well, and at that age, in
yeah,
that time
yeah.
frame,
I guess
that was
so.
a popular.
I guess so. That was
they were popular.
I guess so. I
And-
didn't think about that.
yeah. If,
I think about him being old just back then too for some
Is
reason.
AC/DC like considered old man shit, right?
Yes.
That is? It's
That's
considered
dad
old.
rock.
It's dad rock?
yeah, it's dad
Well,
classic.
young
rock.
dad rock.
Well,
Young dad.
When did AC/DC
Yeah.
at the height of AC/DC was what are we talking?
90s?
It's got you by the balls, right? She's got you
Earlier
by
than
the
that.
balls.
Mid 90s.
Mid-90s.
No,
Early
no way.
90s. AC/DC is way earlier than that, right?
Oh, yeah.
But their height.
Here it is.
No, their height was in the 80s.
This
right?
is the one I
No,
know.
they did.
They were formed in
Oh,
1973, bro.
Yeah, they're old. This is classic rock as it gets.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like, this is the one I knew, and I got caught playing this,
But
and my
they were
mom
big
is not very happy.
Seth thought they were 90s band.
early 90s, yeah.
No,
Like
they were still old
when
men.
did Back in
What's
Black
the movie?
come out?
What's the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he's in a movie, but the
Last
kid,
Action Hero.
they did the soundtrack to that. That's early 90s, and they were like the peak. They're right
Yeah, but
there.
that's when Aerosmith had to come back too. They're still old as fuck. I feel
Yeah,
like.
they were just the
Maybe-
classic rock.
Okay, I just thought of it as my childhood.
They were classic rock in the
Yeah,
90s.
but you're old.
What?
Okay, I
young,
gotta-
young old is what I'm saying.
I just gotta hear the chorus for this.
young dad old.
Back in Black came out in 1980.
Yeah.
It's
That's what I'm saying.
old.
okay.
At 80.
Okay,
before
hold
I was
on.
born.
Hold on, here we go.
I'm gonna start
It's one
listening
of
to this now while I have
the
this.
most annoying voices of all time.
I can do it.
It does sound like a crow. A little bit crowy.
I could do that. Like, I feel like
Good
if you put
karaoke
me
song.
on stage at AC/DC and I was like, and just did, if I just went, right? That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like that's pretty fucking good.
I'd have to look twice to make sure it wasn't you.
I don't think it, yeah, I feel like if you couldn't see me,
I mean, besides a
if
giant
they were
crow.
just up there playing and I was behind the stage and they're like, oh, he doesn't want to be seen or something. I don't know what they tell the crowd. And I was just doing that. I think people would be like, yeah, he's doing it, but I can't see him, but that's him.
Are they
Okay,
still
maybe not.
doing something? Are they still playing
No,
in some
because-
Technically
incarnation?
still together.
I don't think they are because I thought that
Someone passed, right?
No, the dude, not Bon Scott, he's dead.
It says
But
years active, 1973 to present.
the other guy that started singing for him that is local. Remember we saw him when we
take
saw
the-
Billy Joel.
Oh,
Brian Johnson. Brian
Okay.
Johnson, he has so much hearing loss, much like Huey Lewis, that I don't think he can perform really anymore.
You got to buy the ball.
I like.
he
have to take
trains
it
your
high.
kids.
Like that. You gotta do it like that.
And by the way, if you take the average from 1973 to present, the average year is early 90s, so I am correct in saying
But that's
that
not when they were the most popular. That was the question.
they were popular.
Yeah, are you going to trust him with that? I can't even take you seriously.
Sam,
I can't even look at you.
Sam, trust
You
me.
look like action wear Iron Man. Or something. I don't know what
I just almost called the cops because you looked at me like a pedophile.
I really can't look at you anymore.
It's
Like,
creepy.
I go like this, and I'm like, I can't do that.
You should see. Yeah, the dojo people freaked out too. Normally I have my normally my mask is on, but I had my mask off for a split second, and the kids go, "Sensei." I'm like, "Yeah."
Sensei.
Oh my God, our sensei's gay Iron Man. Sensei, ow. Why'd they say it like that?
Well, because it's little girls and little boys. They said,
You scared them, man. Why are you scaring them?
That's why I put the mask on. And I was like, "Oh, sorry, hang on."
You're scaring the children.
And I put the mask on.
So speaking of being old, this happened to me the other day, and my sons have been watching The Simpsons, right?
The newer ones or
No,
the reruns?
the reruns because they put
I
them
said
all.
they're also watching Animaniacs, right?
Yes, yeah,
that's good.
but the new Animaniacs they
Right.
were watching, and then they somehow stumbled upon The
Good
Simpsons.
Lord, I thought you like
I
you
don't
were
know.
like a new digital man.
No,
Like,
no,
they're watching The
I am.
Simpsons and
On
They're
Animaniacs.
older than AC/DC.
Are they watching Amos and Andy and Andy Griffith and like a Little Rascals?
I give them the like they can scroll through the endless scroll and pick what they want, and they land on The Simpsons.
I like that.
And then they started watching The Simpsons, and then
They're going to start telling you to eat their shorts.
Oh, you know what? I do support this now. Then,
Yeah.
that's a classic. He's the classic kind of jerk off kid, right?
So
Yeah.
now all they want to watch is YouTube, and all they want to watch is YouTube video games, and that but they only get to do that on Fridays and on the weekends, right? But,
Right.
So they just picked The Simpsons, and then so far they've been liking it a lot, which I liked. But I will tell you, it's hypocritical 100%, and this has got to be like this for everybody. Like, I like that they were watching The Simpsons, but the shit that's on The Simpsons is actually worse than the goddamn Preston and the video games and
Oh,
the
yeah.
YouTube stuff. Yo, yeah, the
Well,
jokes
Like
are
the itchy and scratchy stuff, too.
Yeah.
Pretty
Well,
violent.
Well,
yeah,
it's-
the violence. I mean,
You don't care about the violence?
It's cartoony,
Homer's
but
made a glory hole joke. Like, and then Tommy's like, "What's a glory hole?" And then I was
Yes. What'd you say?
Holy fuck! That ratcheted up real fast.
I could
Oh
distract
my
them like
God.
that.
I mean, it's technically
I
not a
distract
kid's
them.
cartoon.
I know.
It never has been. In fact, I remember Tom, he wrote this on the list, and I remembered that I actually got in trouble for watching The Simpsons back when it was still part of the Tracy Ullman show. They would tack it on the end.
That's old.
that's
Yeah, I know.
really-
That's back when I was touring with AC/DC.
Yeah,
but no, but I remember watching it, and like it was like an adult show. It's never been a kid show.
No, I know. And
Common Sense Media recommends that children ages 10 and up should be able to view the show.
okay, Tommy's on. He'll be 80.
Yeah, 10
and
years old is a
That's 3
glory.
years away.
I think 10 years old is glory already.
Yeah.
You know, I
He's
agree
only
with
in the
that.
single digits still.
And so
South Park next.
But no, I see South Park. It came out when I was older, so I equate it with I mean, I was like in high
97.
school and
I was in middle school.
and
It's
in
funny that-
college when South Park was popular. And I knew that was too far, but with Simpsons, I was like, they can get away with it.
Yeah.
But the jokes are adult, and it's and in the '90s, we're watching old episodes in the like late '90s.
Yeah, they hit.
And the
They
jokes
go.
they're doing are like worse, and we'll get mad at some YouTubers or something for like saying crap every once in a while. And
What? And then you gotta watch it.
Oh, man.
You can't say crap.
Well, because
I am
I'm
failing
biased.
as a father because we just let crap roll. And
No,
that's
we
how
like-
it's
I
like,
watched
man.
fine.
I watched Boys in the Hood when I was like 8 years old, 7 years old.
You
I'll
had
tell.
a troubled childhood.
I think I actually
Early
said
80s.
to Maisie this morning, "Will you get me my crappy Mountain Dew out of the fridge, please?"
We
Like,
say I mean, we curse all the time by accident and stuff. I try not to, but my wife's a dirty mouth. So she's the one that
Yeah.
curses
I always
more.
forget
Yeah, she
to
is.
not curse in front of kids.
it's
Yeah.
hard.
Because
I've learned better with the
I
karate.
don't even because I
pretty
personally
good.
don't
Oh,
think it's
yeah,
a
I'm
big
good.
deal. I'm just like it's just words, but I
is.
understand that other people don't want.
I don't
their
even say
kids-
butt. I don't even say butt in front of them. Like when
That's
I say
good.
for knuckle push-ups, I say get your hips down and it's your butt.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
get your hips
good.
down.
Well,
Posterior, your
they're
rump.
pay-
Yeah, there's other terms
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you
People
can
are
say.
paying you to be responsible for.
I
the
do
kids,
say when I say sit Indian style, I go sit old style instead. I'm joking.
No, you can just say crisscross, but that's funny as hell.
So
And that's coming from.
Okay, thank you.
so
I'll be here all day.
it's not like I've got friends that openly curse and they don't care in front of their kids, and I just tell, and they know I'm not that prude about it or like overly protective, but I'm a hypocrite because I'll be like, I don't know what you're watching here on YouTube because I don't, like, what is this kid? Is he, what is he saying?
Right.
And meanwhile, I'm happy and I'm watching The Simpsons. We're all laughing, and it's way worse than any of the shit that the kids are playing on YouTube and the video game content, especially because what you can get away with in the 90s is more, like way more abrasive, I would say, than what the content they're putting out now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, but then some cartoons push the envelope, like
Simpsons for sure.
But I mean, like even now,
current.
I mean, like even now, like if you look at a South Park, or if you look at a Family Guy, I don't think I think they still push the boundaries. But
but those are also on cable, right?
Yeah, and they go for that. But cable, Fox is still cable. Simpsons,
Fox isn't cable.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
basic ass.
But
channel.
I think it might still be under the. I don't know.
They played it after like it came on like 8 p.m.
Yeah, it comes on later.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm wrong on that, but I think
Family Guy and Simpsons are on the same exact network because that's where they cross back and forth sometimes.
No, you're right.
Family Guy's on TBS.
Yeah.
See, it used to be on Fox.
Yeah, it used to be on Fox. They left a while ago.
Yeah.
Okay,
but Family, like Tommy
watch
liked
Hulu.
watching Family Guy for a while, and but those jokes were blatantly too far and like over his head and stuff like that. And so then The Simpsons, I was like, oh, it's fine, but and they're still watching it. It's fine, and I like it actually. Because I'm biased.
So what do you do when things like Glory Hole comes up? Do you just try and change the subject?
I'm like,
explain?
I tell them I don't
it's a place
even know.
for patriotic.
You just claim ignorance.
It's a place for patriotic people to look through and celebrate America.
I'm just like, I don't know something, and then it goes on and he forgets. But it's it may be a bad thing in the.
It's also a weird name for something that should be called anonymous dick sucking hole. Right? Glory hole to me, the patriotic thing I just came up with, I'm like, that makes a lot more sense. And if you told me, hey, I've got an anonymous dick sucking hole, I'd be like, all right, I know what that's about.
Or at least say like DS hole or something like that. That way it's like you still know,
I
but
still
you can still sit.
I still don't think those things are real. I don't think they happen.
No.
Glory holes. I think they have a setup.
We have a map. We can try this
No, I think
out.
they do the setup. And what I mean is, like, you'll have a glory hole, and then people will come to the sex club, and it's like, hey, do you want to try the glory hole? But I don't think there's like a gas station with a glory hole, and then there's some dude or lady in there who's just waiting like a troll under a bridge to suck dicks, which is what I want.
Yeah.
So, Seth,
sir.
I saw you post under the BDM post we were talking about earlier, the one we're doing for charity, and some boat captains were.
I was trying to underhand your charity.
Yeah, clowning me, and you're like, "I'll do it for cheaper." And
oh no, not cheaper, free.
So you claim to do it for free, but you sold your boat. So raise your hand in this room if you own a boat. All right.
For those of you not on Twitch, only Tom is.
Are you freaking out? You sold your boat? You cut the weirdo hair?
Ask me next week. I'll have
hair?
a boat within a week or 2 weeks.
Oh, that's fast.
Yeah. Where are you? Have you ordered it?
No, I have one that I'm going to look at, or he's bringing down to me. It has like
the king requires the boat's presence. In front
it has
of
like 20 hours on it.
So
it's practically new.
We forgot to do this, but we talked about it when me and Daniel and Sam took a business road trip earlier this week.
We did.
In the car, we were talking about the auction.
We went to Twin Peaks.
And then we were talking about Seth selling his boat and then buying a new boat, right? After, how long did you own that boat?
5 months.
5 months.
How many times did you go out on it?
A lot. I'd say 4 or 5. No, 5 or 6 times.
Okay, about
so
5
once
times.
Once a month.
5 months.
Once a month.
Kind of what Tom told
It was definitely
you.
once a month.
And sold it for the same boat.
For a more expensive boat.
More expensive, newer version.
How much is a new boat?
Come on. Close to 80K.
Oh,
yeah,
my
80K.
fucking God.
God damn.
So,
that hurts my chest.
So we did say, I'm like,
I'm trying to talk him down.
Why? Why?
Yeah, I would
80,000.
I would try to talk him down too.
So you bought a $50,000 boat. 5 months later, you sell it for an $80,000 boat.
It's simple math, dude. I don't know what your problem is.
So what is $30,000 better about the new boat than the old boat?
This one, I can push a btten and start it.
That's it?
I see that. You know what? I'm glad I asked.
So then I started talking out loud in the car, and I was like, well, Seth can't be that rich. So hold on. Let me start looking at this.
He's pretty rich.
And then
he got that $80,000 2 weeks boat money.
Yeah, but then
you ain't got that.
I started going through my head, and then I was like, we should research this on the internet because
the internet doesn't get. You did this before with me.
No, the internet, it tells all, dude. There is no secrets. The internet knows everything about you, and also I was like, I can pretty much garner how much money Seth has just
you
from
think
the
you can get a
internet.
good idea?
Well, I look at the UFC fights, how much he made off Kimbo fight, and then
investments,
how much
businesses.
Well, the investments I don't know. All I know is the
it's
the
all
jungle.
online. It's all online.
Oh, we can look up his rental properties.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Property appraisers, start getting some addresses.
So we'll go through all your rental properties. We'll go through your business. We'll go through how much money you made for your fights because that's all public record, right? How much money you made on Ultimate Fighter.
How many times you
I didn't make any money.
They didn't pay you nothing?
No.
This is just for promotions?
It was all bullcrap. Well, they paid us like $100 a week or something ridiculous, something stupid.
Like the minimum? Oh, my
God. Yeah, it was awful. We didn't make anything.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I know. But I did do a real estate deal while I was there. And they weren't going to let that happen because there was no supposed to be no outside contact.
Right.
But I got my people to send a contract through. The producers come to me like, you got to sign this. This is your real estate thing you're doing. I'm like, okay, cool. So I did my little deal on the side, which is kind of nice. So I made some money while I was on there from a real estate deal.
All right.
Right before the economy took
pretty cool.
So anyway, I started just an overview of figuring out how much Seth has, and I don't know if it's enough to be flippantly buying $80,000
So you're trying to give him life advice?
Well, I'm just saying.
Financial advice.
Seems like there's a lot of
But
money.
he just
to
bought a
spend.
brand new motorcycle.
No, I know. I'm going to take that into account too. And then the
You
Hellcat.
should have driven that today. Did you?
No, I was rushing to get
It's
it.
a beautiful day.
I didn't want to rush on my motorcycle.
How much does the Hellcat cost? That's a nearly
New. He got the
over,
new.
over 80.
Aren't you getting the new
92.
one?
92. It's a 92.
Aren't you
80,
getting the new one?
70.
That's halfway paid off. My motorcycle's paid off. The boat will be paid off.
He's way better than you, buddy.
I know he is.
Way
but
better than you, buddy. And he can grow a weirdo beard out.
there's a chance I can wait him out until all these financial decisions
So
take
this
their
is a
toll.
competition.
Look, I still got my house is my ace in my hole. As soon as I sell that, I'll double my net worth.
Well, I mean,
No, not double, but I'll be.
You'll be
good.
better.
yeah. You didn't borrow anything against it for the boat, or
No,
take out any?
take out nothing. Nope.
I feel like the
Is it paid off?
Which one?
Your house?
Well, no, it's not paid off.
No.
So the house is.
I'll look that up too. So
This got like a
I'll
serious
tell everybody. I don't
competition for a
care.
second, Sam.
I owe. I could sell that house. It's at appraised for $1.1 million.
Yeah.
I owe $400,000 on it.
No, that's pretty good. I mean, you should sell.
You
it.
could
You're
buy
rich.
5 of them $80,000 boats.
I'll
Take
tell them,
that,
I don't care.
Tom.
That's personal, but I don't care. It's
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Everyone knows house shit. It's no big deal. But I don't want to sell it because I love that. I love the house, so I want to stay in it.
Until your roommate moves out, then you move into the smaller bungalow.
that was your plan.
I talked to him about that, and I was like, "Look, this is my plan. I'm going to do this if you don't want to stay here, and I increase your rent." So
So you pushed him
You
out.
priced him out?
Oh my
No,
God!
no,
you
no,
priced your best friend out of his only
He's
place
still
to live.
paying about 20 to 25% less than what he should be paying for.
Is
the
that
house.
why you have the beard? Is this a villain look?
Bizarro
evil.
Seth.
It's evil Seth.
So, but no, I increased his rent a little bit to make it fair, and then he's going to stay
So
month to month.
I also mentioned
Month to month, he finds a new spot.
No, he's staying there.
So, Daniel and I have what is called the gatekeeper, right? And
what does that mean?
That our wives.
Oh, yeah.
And they won't allow us.
All of my
to-
bank accounts are attached to text messages to my wife's phone.
yeah.
So, like, even this morning, I bought something for the studio. It's connected to Amazon, and it just tells her. She's like, "You bought lights?" I'm like, "Yeah, for the studio." She's like, "Well, you used the wrong card."
yeah.
And I did. She's right. I did.
Buying,
I'm an idiot.
A super expensive luxury items, I cannot do just on a whim or without consulting my wife or talking her into it
Like
or
right
tricking
now,
her in some way.
Seminole Power Sports, they have the new Honda Monkey. Have you seen that? It's like
No.
the little. It's like the Grom, but it's the retro version. So it's the Grom, but it looks like a '70s like tiny shorts, a gold necklace, mustache. You'd ride it around, picking up chicks. And I want one so bad, and I could have Seminole get me one. And Andrew said no.
I want to go. We both want a golf cart. I
Yes.
want that new electric Sur-on dirt bike.
Yes.
I really want that bad. I want
Yes.
that new electric Silverado because it'll go faster than
It's super
Seth's
fast.
car.
Yeah, way faster than the
So
Hellcat.
I have my high on the electric Hummer, the EV. So
Oh, you're gonna get that?
I'm thinking.
He's gonna get everything, and we can get nothing.
This is
And
my
you
thing.
have no. Does Tracy tell you like what do you do? Like,
She wants a Volvo, and I feel bad.
Wants
She's
a
like,
Volvo?
"Can you
She's
send
got
me
a
Volvo?"
Hellcat, for Christ's sake, doesn't she?
does that. What? No, she drives mine sometimes.
I thought she had a Hellcat, or that's what you sold the other one.
does
That's
she-
when
No,
you were
I
in
sold the other
transition.
one.
Does
She
she
has her
ever tell you?
Dodge Ram Charger, her big truck that she got done.
Does she ever tell you like, hey, do
What about your Scout?
That's getting done. My goal is to sell that Scout for then pay the Hummer off in cash with the money I get.
So
selling the
something
Scout.
you're already doing, you're not even going to use it. The Scout's an investment to pay for the electric Hummer. This is craziness.
That's what I think I'm doing. Yes, I'm pretty sure.
I'm never going to get to do any of this fun stuff. All I do is work,
Well, you
and then I
mean-
come home and get told what I can't buy.
He's spending all his money. He's gonna be destitute.
This is chaos, though.
But I want chaos.
I'm secure. I'm so
You're
like I.
pimping out one thing just
No,
to
he's not
turn
even gonna
around and
use
se-
the
That's what I'm saying.
Scout.
Just
You
to
can't
turn
be
around.
that-
That's
and
how
sell
you
it.
do. That's how you make. That's what you do. I bought one house to fix up and sell to make enough money to buy another house. Pay half of it off.
Hold on,
So we
all
have-
this from
like, you
Kimbo
use it.
money from the start.
No, I save my money. I don't. Well, now I'm
He's
not.
cheap as hell.
Just like you scream myself.
Like I save it.
Literally, you told us about 10 fucking things
You buy,
that cost $180,000.
Everything that I've done, any time that I've sold a house, when my real estate, I immediately put it right back into another one and try to at least make another 25% more than what I made in the last one. So I just try to, and I just build and build and build.
Let's talk about
That's what I
Tracy's
kept trying to
Volvo.
do.
Let's talk
And I
about
haven't done
Tracy's
that in a
Volvo.
long time. My house that I'm in now was the last one I was going to do, but I just haven't sold it yet because I fell in love with it. So now
So what's the next house after this?
I don't know.
Well, that's what you
Well,
were
I
doing to
talked
make
my
your
brother.
money and
I'm probably gonna. I told you this already. I think I'm gonna buy a little condo in St. Pete so I can have a boat there and have my little.
Oh, you have two boats?
Yeah.
This is insanity, dude. I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong. Double boats. He's got multiple
Me and my brother.
coasts.
No.
Hold on.
His girlfriend hot as hell. Big old titties. Got a Volvo. What the fuck am
No,
I
she doesn't
doing?
have a ball. No, my boat is mine here. The boat in St. Pete, me and my brother are going to go in on together, and the house we're going to go in on together too.
You
So
had to
we're
take
both
your
doing
jacket
that.
off. You got hot. You got money hot.
Hey, I don't know. I'm gonna start, I'm gonna start digging into this.
I can't believe Tom remembered to wear his semantic shirt. I totally
He did.
forgot
Oh,
to
yeah,
text
he
him.
did.
Look at him.
Yeah, look at that.
He surprised himself.
He didn't even
Only
know he had
thing
it
we-
on.
I was like, what?
That's just the universe lighting up.
And you guys are not real. I don't have. You guys have kids. I'm
Yeah.
I'm
That's
single.
it.
I'm
They're
single.
not that expensive.
I have a decent job that I'm making money at.
Yeah,
and you guys have
It
kids.
is a fact. If I did not have a daughter, I would have a hot ass girlfriend with a Volvo. I'd have double boats, and my brother and I'd party in
you
his
guys,
IP.
you guys would be able to afford a lot more. So I'm not that rich. You're saying that I am. I'm not. I'm just using my money kind of
How
wisely, I
much debt
guess.
do you have?
I don't have any. Besides my house, I'm
Okay.
not in any debt.
That's awesome.
I don't have any credit card debt.
I'm old. I have
Everything's
tons of
paid
debt. I have money, but I have tons of debt as well, and I'm old.
One
I'm trying to
lucky
think what else
Kimbo
I have.
punch got you all this.
Shut up, asshole.
You found it. You found it.
Well, he runs
found it.
businesses.
I
too.
can't,
Yeah.
I can't push the button.
I admire him picking a shot, and he tried it, and then he was, and then he was like, "Oh, that hurt a little bit." And like, "Oh,
I've owned the
hey,
gym
now."
for 15 years. Over the past 10 of those 15, I've made 6 figures a year running a gym.
That's good. That's good.
Well, so-
No.
I'll go ahead and get the break.
just-
cue.
and I
They're
wanna-
gonna fight.
Yeah.
I'm
Are you gonna fight him,
I'm just
bro?
worried that you're going through some sort of
Probably,
crisis
yes. You're right about that.
That next thing you're buying
don't blow all your
$80,000
money.
boats and motorcycles
But I'm
and
not
the
doing
electric
it.
Hummer.
I still have my reserve is good. And my
Ah.
savings is fine. It's fine. This was my play money that I wanted to do. It's not like I'm buying. Well, I am buying 2, but I'm going halves with my brother. I sold one. I got the money
You
back
should
for my
write this all
first
down.
one. I got my money back for my first one and just going a little bit more with the
No, listen, I'm happy for you. I want everybody to succeed.
and the push button is worth it.
And this
Hey, if it's worth it to you, man, that's all that matters, right? It's your money.
It's just newer, less hour on the engines. It's got all the nice new things. It's-
My only argument would be if it were me, and it's not me, so it doesn't matter. But I would say that whole thing would be a headache. I would have just kept the one I had because it's just like this is a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
but that's
no,
the only.
It is
thing.
a headache, but when I'm out on the water, like it's so. I'm happy very, very happy when I'm out there. On
Tom
the
says that, but he never goes out.
I
Tom says his happy place
I
is
always-
the water, but I couldn't tell you the last time. I don't even know if he knows where his boat is.
and it's
Do you know where you know where you
it's
left
over
your
there.
boat?
It's
I
cold.
have
It's over
seen.
there.
I did look at some new ones that he has, but brand new.
Yeah.
and they're
Kinda
they're
nerdy.
They're
It's like a
alright.
nerdy boat,
They're just they're
right?
half the price,
Kinda
so it'd
nerdy.
be worth it. But it's just,
What's half the price because it's like you're buying like Rockport walking shoes for old men,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
you can buy like really cool Vans.
but then I can go on the other end of that and go past my boat. With some of the ones that they're sending me on the page, they're
why don't you just go
300,
full on yacht?
400,000.
Why don't you just go?
See, I don't have that. That's then I'll be blowing all my money.
What about a tugboat? Get a tugboat.
I'm just bringing it up because I care about you, Seth. I don't want to see you make horrible decisions.
You care about nothing except for your sons.
I see people like I see them go down to they're posted on Facebook and they're doing I'm like they're making poor decisions. I'm like I'll just bring them aside and be like, hey, you sure you know what you're doing here?
Do you know what you're doing, bro?
You're spending a lot of money. You got these things.
I
like,
wish you'd consulted me
could
before
be-
you cut your beard.
You know,
like this? I can go back.
yeah, I feel like the boat is the beard.
Yes,
boats.
I do feel like they're connected. I do
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like there is I feel like you have a tendency to freak out. And I think if we were able to trace your facial hair, we'd see patterns in it and things you buy. I think we'd see like,
Let's talk
oh,
about
he's doing
that.
a monkey tail beard. Oh,
'Cause-
what'd he buy? Motorcycle. Oh,
Because there is a element. Okay, follow me here, Daniel. Because
I tell you, I follow you to hell, buddy.
so me and Daniel have talked about this before, where like having children, right, like kind of took a stressor away from us, in the fact that we felt like now we were leaving some of our DNA and a human behind.
Yeah.
and it does make you fear death less. It's a weird psychology where like you now have kids that you made that are half you that will exist, and you kind of feel like that you're leaving something
Yeah.
behind. It's a weird like
It is. It's like part of you living.
I mean, it's a lot of hassle just for that. So don't do it just for that. But I feel like
Stop reading the chat, Seth.
the people that have maybe the worst midlife crisis are the people without kids and are hitting midlife because
so you're saying
they
that
don't feel that.
Do you think he wants children?
Well,
We know. he
Yeah,
does.
he know. We
No,
know.
no, but you're
I'm
saying
saying he
that,
doesn't have them now, so it's like
I'll tell you right now,
boats,
before
freaking
Maisie,
motorcycles,
I'll
it's
tell
a
you-
freak out. It's a
Before
full freak out.
Maisie, I used to cut my beard like a dickhead. That's a fact.
I'm just saying the part of the full freak out is the facial hair changes.
Yeah.
You know,
You
then
got to
go
spice
full
it up because
frog.
you don't have something naturally in your life keeping it spicy at all times.
Yeah. And then so you start spending your money and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
you're
no,
like-
I am by
yeah.
that. There is a truth to me getting new things and having a little bit of excitement.
Well,
and
it's a
spice, for sure.
serotonin, right? Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get
Yeah.
it gives you that.
Retail therapy.
Yeah, it gives
I was
you a
just
little
saying in the
jump.
chat, and I wasn't
I
trying to
like
be
buying
mean,
shit
Seth,
too, but
that I was surprised that Seth doesn't pay for a hair transplant because he always talking about he wants hair and he wears wigs, and it's
And
like
I've
you have all
looked
this
into it.
money.
you wear wigs.
No, I don't.
Well, you get that wig sent to
well,
him, and he
yeah,
always
yeah.
takes pictures
Oh
of
my
it.
God.
You know, but you're lucky.
No, I don't.
But you have a good.
I sent him to her only. And
Yeah, those are my personal
Sam's was like
photos.
so convinced. She's like, yeah, he's wearing this wig all,
All
the
the
time.
I need to know if it looks good, so I asked her.
I'm like, it's a little off.
That's awesome. You know what? I like that. That's fantastic.
You
This
pull
wig
off.
consultant.
I've asked Tracy. I'm like, you tell me that you want me to have hair, and I will go right now and get hair transplants. I asked her that.
I don't
Wherever
think she
I'm with-
wants you to have hair.
Well, she says she doesn't, but I'm like, seriously, I don't care. If you want me to, I'll go and do it. Like, I want to please the other person that I'm with. So I would be like, if you want me to, I will. Because it doesn't bother. It does, but it doesn't really to the fact that I'd spend money to get hair transplants.
Okay.
what about
more
the
of a wig.
tattoo that just makes it look like you always keep it buzzed?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah.
little dots.
It's
The
really
little dots.
popular in the Latin
Microblade.
communities. In the Latin communities.
Latin-
They
I've
love
seen
that.
that.
We can do your goatee too. Permanent goatee.
Let's do the dot hair.
Dot hair. Dot hair. Dot hair. Dot hair.
Oh, we can get tattoo artists that we know to do it. No problem.
I would bid. I would do a bid for for charity or something like that.
You do the whole. It's like thousands.
Oh my God, how long does that take?
If it looked good, I would do it. Because why not? Because
And then you can go get it freshened up. Like if you're like, oh, I need a few more hair.
yeah, square.
Or
it's
you could
very
round
square.
it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
could square. You could do
Yeah.
a daffodil.
Yeah,
If you know.
you get
They
the
have a widow's
straight
peak.
Harvey.
Yeah, what do you want? The only thing you can't do is take away. So you
Well, you
got
can laser it
you
off.
add a little bit, and then you go, "How's this looking?" Like little little more.
And then I like.
Is it always black hair then? Always black dots?
Well, it's black until it gets the sun on, and then it turns green. Disgusting green, like every Daytona Beach swamp bag's titties. They get the tattoo on their titties, they're out in the sun, it turns swamp green.
All right, let's take a break, and then we'll come back. We'll do some Seth news. Like Seth thinks I'm
you
always
got him
attacking.
tying over here.
No, that's why.
You think I'm attacking you?
Yeah, I do feel
You got
like
a good
you
life.
I don't think you're attacking me. I just think you're.
I think he's jealous, Seth.
No.
Oh, we know he is. I mean, we know he is.
Who wouldn't be? Like, someone sit back and be like, I don't like that. Like, I don't want it. What do you all want? Everybody wants it.
Just know that inside I'm slightly tortured myself.
Well, we know that.
Well, yeah, I know.
We're not jealous of that
But
part.
I also want to know that
just want the money,
you're spending all the
hot
money
chicks.
and then you'll be destitute soon. That gives me a little bit of joy.
Wow.
My God, man.
What? That's what everybody wants.
I'm definitely doing donuts around your boat.
The name of the band or artist is High Pulp. The name of the song, All Roads Lead to Los Angeles. Yeah, I'm throwing a little jazz in there. Why not? We'll be back with more Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan momentarily. 1-844-TOMNDAN if you want to call the line, maybe leave a voicemail message. show@tomanddan.com for last minute emails. Welcome back to a Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. I am Dan.
I'm Tom. So Seth, you went to some tournament with your students, correct?
Correct. 2 weeks ago. Yes, 2 weeks ago.
And your students, I saw a BDM actually post on the BDM page talking about how his daughter, I believe, started, training with you at the dojo.
That was a good post.
Yeah,
And it kind of transformed her into a stronger person and
More
gave her
confident.
She
focus
got
and
the
discipline.
itch, man, and it sucked her
I
in,
like
and now
that.
she's
Yeah.
killing it.
She's
and
she's big time into it. It's really cool to see that. It looks like how I was when I was a little kid. It's really cool to see like her be like so excited about.
it's hard to
karate.
find that
It's
thing,
cool.
too, I think.
Yeah.
You know, like I think sometimes you can get lucky and find a thing, and sometimes like it took me a while. Like I remember even as a little kid, like I eventually found drums, but you know what I mean. Like it's hard to find. Like my friends were doing
You gotta
things.
try
They said
Yeah.
drugs.
Yeah.
Which is what Tom needs to
I
make his
see.
You
By the
stop.
way, I see those posts. I'm like, you think you're better than me? You think you're better, Dad? He is. So you went to this karate tournament, and your students are fighting. Now you sent Daniel a video, which will play on Twitch. But why are you now fighting this video?
This the
what?
reason
Wait, it's an amateur tournament. You're a professional.
doesn't matter. It's karate. I'm not a professional karate fighter. I was a professional MMA fighter.
I feel like that's like I don't know about that, right? It's like once I've done this for 20 years, and people are like, and then I go to like, who's the best on the microphone? And I'm like, I ain't never seen one of these before. I'll try it. You know,
It's
that's
almost like
weird.
Danica Patrick, like she's racing in a go-kart race, and then she's like, well, I'm not a professional go-kart racer, even if she probably was.
What
but
is
as a-
this that you said?
like,
Is this
but
a
yeah,
did you send me a montage video?
yeah, it's a montage of me fighting. Yes.
Oh my
From this-
This is
from this past week.
embarrassing.
I thought this was supposed to be about your students.
Oh no
and then-
no me.
Oh,
It's
I didn't get the video that I was coaching them, and I wasn't allowed to video. I did that. So Tracy's the one that videoed me fighting.
It says
Oh, so you- Tracy
Seth
video-
Petrozelli Kumate
Kumite.
montage from AAU Karate Kickoff Tournament.
Dan.
It does.
Oh,
yeah,
my God.
I have the cool 80s video.
All right.
So
Yeah,
you made
very-
Tracy videotape you and edit together a montage.
I edited.
Oh,
She
okay.
videoed.
All right.
It's me. I'm in the helmet.
Wait a minute. Why are you wearing a helmet?
Why doesn't the other guy
Hold
get
on.
out?
Whoa, we got a problem.
You are punching a fat dad in the head, and he has no helmet. And why do you have a helmet? You're the goddamn
That's
professional.
not- this
You stepped into a ring with Bob Sapp. If you
That's why
look up
I'm
Bob
wearing a
Sapp.
helmet now. I do not want to have another concussion. I shouldn't be fighting right now, but I am, so I put a helmet on.
Well, wait. If you
It's
shouldn't be
optional.
fighting, then you shouldn't be fighting.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Why
I
is
know, because
why
I-
isn't
Yeah,
but
he
that's-
wearing a
I
helmet?
need that for my ego.
But these are
It's
amateur. right?
optional for the adults to wear. It's mandatory for kids, optional for adults, and I'm the only one that opted to wear a headgear.
So what? Who are you fighting in this one? You're punching them.
I mean, isn't it a little weird for the guy that's fought on TV to be wearing the protective gear and beating up all the amateurs? Like, isn't that weird?
A little, I guess, when you put it that way.
I mean, like, I just boil things down. I'm a simple man, but yeah, when it's like,
So what even class is this considered? Is it like
Senior.
Seth,
Senior is 35 years old and above. So it's not that senior.
You're more muscular and shredded than anybody I know at any age, right?
Yeah.
Like, of all of our friends, Daniel, do you know anybody as muscular as Seth?
no,
Like,
not even close. Not even close.
And so,
Not even that has the diet regimen. I know nutritionists.
That does not matter when it comes to forms.
I know nutritionists that's their job, and they are not as good as Seth. Does that make sense?
But all I'm saying is
That's good.
you're fighting in the senior division, and you should be just fighting like the youngest and the best.
If there's nobody for the senior division, I go down and fight them as well.
Right.
That's fine. But this is 35 and up, black belt, advanced, so black belts, male, obviously. But
were you more okay? Did you have more karate training than any of the other competitors?
in the Kumite division, yes, because they were all younger than me that I was fighting.
This guy looks
But in
like
the kata division, no, because there was senseis in there that have been senseis for 20, 30 years.
I'm just gonna call it
But
like
I
I
beat
see it though. In the first
But do
fight,
you win all your fights?
Yeah, I win.
Okay, I'm just gonna say in this first
I
fight,
won all my so I had 12 people that I was going against in the forms, and I beat all them. And then there was 6 people in the fight, 6 or 7. and I
Why
beat
are
all-
there Harry Potter people running around the outside of
So
the...
those are the judges that determine the
Why are
points.
they
So if
dressed like
it's-
Hermione and
because
and
it's
and
AAU, it's
Ralph?
done. You have to wear a certain colored outfit to judge.
She has
so
on blue pants, a white shirt, and a Harry Potter tie.
Yeah, that's what they wear.
They dress like Harry Potter.
Yes.
This is fucking weird, dude. This is weird. You're a fucking
this is a
weirdo.
grown
I
man.
love you, but you're weird.
Why
man.
is this weird? This is a
This is
competition.
weird because, like, okay, like you don't think it's weird that the guy that's fought on TV and beat like people up, prize fighter, like professional prize fighter, goes to an amateur tournament, starts slapping around the people, and he's the only one that has all the
It's
protective
kind of
gear.
Kenny Powersy.
There it is.
It's a different.
Presto number 2 this
yeah.
week.
It's a different type of competition.
It really is. It really is a different type. I don't know what it is.
Foot
Did you
fist
choose
way.
this 80s cheese music
Yes,
too?
I did. I did. And I did that on purpose.
Javier is standing in the corner.
Javier's in my corner. Actually, he is.
And
Wait, it gets good. You can see better.
Oh,
punches
you're fighting Jim
Yeah, I
Henson.
Oh, you hit him in the
That guy looks like
face.
Jim Henson.
I punched him in the face.
Who's Jim Henson?
you're fighting
Oh,
a guy
Jim
that
Henson.
you punched a guy that looks like Jim Henson in the face. He's bald. He's got male
Watch
pattern
Jim
baldness.
Henson take
He's
it right
younger
the
than
kisser.
me.
This is called the.
He actually scored a point at me. That guy.
This is called Kermit the Frog. Boom! Fucked him up. Fucked him up.
in the face.
Why did you do
damn
that?
it.
There's a
Oh
couple more
my
I did.
God! It's not easy being green.
It's not punching. It's a light touch, and you have to recoil your hand. It's different than fighting, because fighting you'd follow up. This you have to touch and pull back.
He's crying. Are you happy now?
This man's grown daughters are watching.
Aw.
His daughters.
Hi, my name is Chester. My hobbies are wood carving and karate. And I'm here with my daughters. Oh, shit. Gun! Oh. I bet that was hard having to explain to your daughters as you said at
But at least-
friendlies afterwards and your nose is bleeding.
For sure, all
At least
the
it's
other like karate instructors and like the judges, they're all talking shit, right? Like this, like I beat Kimbo Slice. He comes here every year and he punches
No,
all the
it's that
time.
This is my
movie.
first karate tournament in
no.
20 years. Something
It's that-
second karate
It's that
tournament.
Jason Bateman movie where he does the spelling bees as a grown up. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that shit?
All
It's
right,
like
yeah.
bad words or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
What it is.
yeah.
I figured it out. I figured
This
it out.
makes me so happy this happens
Except
to-
it's real.
I
which
can't
is
believe it's real.
insane.
You guys are taking this way out of context. sort
It's
of.
not, are we?
We're watching the video.
Well,
Why are we
but-
taking on a context?
because you guys are
we are watching and
Video
commentating
proof of you beating up.
on reality. Like,
I want to watch a little more
Okay.
because he's crying.
You kick-
But you're kicking
his
his
flank.
flank. Why
Oh.
would you kick his flanks?
He's pissing. He's pissing blood now for sure.
oh, you knocked him
Oh,
down.
hold on a second. And then you-
I swept. Well, he kind of fell, but I
Watch.
swept him too.
And then you go,
It's me, Kiai. That's my Kiai.
Fell over like an old man.
I punched him too. That one was hard. At the end, you see me. There's a sweep and a point.
yeah.
I spin kicked his face there.
alone.
Did you see that one? I spin kicked his face right there.
Dude, what the
I
fuck
can't
is
believe
wrong
this
with
happened.
you?
This is real.
Meanwhile, Tracy is standing there.
Shaking, holding the video.
Go get him, baby! Kick his fucking Henson face off, baby!
No, you know what she
She's
did
like
say?
holding it up, paying
No, she's
attention, doing her own
texting
TikTok.
her friends like, my boyfriend.
I'm
makes
gonna
me
get
do
my
it."
Volvo, kick his fucking puppet hat off.
No, I was like, oh, you don't seem like this was like a day or two after. I was like, I felt good about myself that I fucking got 2 gold medals. I really did. I was proud because I haven't done karate. Stop, just listen. Just listen.
Jim Henson's in there. Like, you get 2 plastic.
I was
gold
more. I'm very. You guys don't understand the form part. The kata part, I was most proud of because I haven't practiced my kata. I teach. I haven't been able to do my kata the way I want to do it. My form. That's important to me. And I went against some guys that were actually very, very good in other senseis. I was proud of that. The kumite was. I just did. Maybe I was better.
Slapping around a bunch of nerds.
But I told Tracy, I'm like, I'm just proud. I'm like, you don't seem very happy. She's like, well. They were just kind of older than you. So she called me up. So she kind of called me up. And
On brand, Tracy. Well done. On brand.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as impressive. to her
She's
as I
very
thought.
sweet.
Yeah.
And I bet you.
You
it's
thought she'd be impressed by a karate competition? She's 23.
No. That's true. That is an old man's impressive thing.
But guess what?
You're right. I never thought of it like that, Sam. You're right.
She coaches the kids. She was into it. Because
Yeah,
she,
but
like,
the kids doing karate and
I feel like she was gaslighted into that
like,
job.
I feel like kids
Yeah,
are
maybe a little
okay.
bit.
Like if Tommy came in here and said, "Mr. Daniel, look I got my medal," I would be like, "Oh, dude, that's rad."
Because it's a kid.
And it's super impressive, right?
Yeah.
Like Sam said, because it's a kid.
Yeah.
So. Oh my God! Are you Michael Jacksoning? You're Michael Jacksoning.
She has to spend her weekends at karate competitions.
You're Michael Jackson.
She told me after this tournament, you know what? I think I'm going to do the next karate tournament. So she's going to
she's gonna
compete
be a part of it?
and do kata, the form, not the form. She doesn't want to fight, but
Yeah,
she wants to do the form.
because she's classy.
She wants
She
to.
ain't gonna slap the old men around. Yeah.
No, it'll be other girls her age.
Old grannies.
No, she'd be
'cause
fighting.
Tracy's nice. You're to push
big
some old
girls.
lady down.
Tell us about the medal presentation when the whole tournament's over and you're like,
Yeah.
I wasn't out of breath at all. They were out of breath.
And
I
do
was
you do
like,
your Kyo?
and I was the only one in a mask afterwards.
You gotta do that thing that who's that?
I'm literally the only one with the helmet. I have a helmet and a mask on, and everyone else is without. Sorry, I look like an idiot.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
I know, you know, but
Your
I like how
honesty. I like
you
the
somehow-
honesty.
at least I'm being honest.
You are.
yeah. This
Holy
is
shit, dude.
so Fred Simmons that it's like,
But
it
it's
can't
real.
even be any better.
But
I know.
It's real.
It just
People
it
don't.
seems
You know, people don't think this is real, right? They don't. They don't.
It's-
And the people don't watch the Twitch feed
Come and
or
watch me-
anything. Like they don't see the video or anything. They're like, I
Can
don't.
people
Come and watch me March 5th. That's the next one I'm doing.
We
So
should
is it open to the public?
Dude,
Yeah, yeah.
We
Okay.
should roll by with our live equipment and
When
just
is it?
do
I'm
20
putting
minutes
some
for
calendar.
ACT or something. We
March-
should just roll by
March
if we
5th.
can.
yeah.
It's an hour and a half. It's an hour and a half drive.
Oh,
It's-
That's a
God.
haul.
Sorry, you guys are going to the coast.
So where during the presentation when they give you the gold medal, do they you bend over or they put
and
it
they
over
put
your,
it. Yeah, of course.
Okay, do you stand on some sort of podium?
Well, no, we're just.
Do you
standing
make them
live.
play like the national anthem? And then are they? And do you bow?
We have to bow before and after, of course.
And then
Do you say a speech or anything?
No, it's not like that.
Do you shake
At the after party, of course. Yeah, I did. I have all of
after party
Where
of
is
a
it at?
kids karate
Yeah, I
tournament?
invite all the kids' parents and the kids and the
Back to
adults
my
that
place for
participate.
nude pool party.
Yeah, no, I had like a pizza and wing party, and the kids stayed till like midnight. I was doing karaoke again.
Michael Jackson.
Macaulay Culkin was there. You know, Webster was hanging out.
so all,
Mr. Belvedere.
all the students came back for
Back
a
participating.
midnight pool party.
Yeah, you're
and
playing. And then you all got
you're
on the
doing
life-size
karaoke.
train and you rode around and rode the amusement ride.
Oh.
And then you all jumped back in the Alaskan
I had
king
Tracy-
bed and
I
told
had-
stories to each other while you fondled each other's pubes.
We can be here all day talking about this because there's a whole situation to that. Tracy left early for a reason. She got in a fight. Tracy. She got in a fight with the guy who puts on the whole tournament. He's like the main sensei, the huge head guy. He told her to
Since I
sit-
huge?
Yeah.
I'm sensei.
I don't want to say it.
Big sensei.
But anyway, she got in a huge argument. It was like a 5-minute argument, and I pussied out because I didn't want to get in the middle of it because I didn't want to have our dojo get kicked
I'll
out.
just be over here with my medals in
So
my
I
head
saw
here.
them.
They'll
I
take my
saw them-
medals.
Yeah,
Staying out of it.
yeah. I
Put
saw
my
them.
headgear
Oh
on.
my
Go
God.
away,
I saw
go
them
away,
arguing.
go
Hold
away.
on, what'd you get in a fight over?
Right.
The way the whole tournament was run because of COVID, they had made everyone sit down, but
COVID's not real, you fucking idiot.
No, she wasn't like that. She was the one with the mask on, yelling at the guy to get out of his face. I don't know you. You're in my face yelling at me without a mask. There's nowhere to sit. You packed too many people in here. I don't know what you want me to do,
This
miss.
doesn't sound healthy for anybody.
It wasn't good. So she started crying. She left after the kids. And then as she was driving home, I was like,
Seth didn't help stick up for his girlfriend,
I
and
did.
he let her leave crying.
well, I couldn't leave the door.
Yeah,
I
he
said,
had to stay with the kids. Who's going to pick up the pizzas for the pool
exactly.
party?
No,
Did parents there?
Tracy did.
Oh my
'Cause
god!
on the way home, I called her and I was like, "Hey,
You gotta get the pizzas.
I was like, hey, order 10 pizzas
I'm trying to put Encanto on Netflix.
and stop by Target and get a life-size Jenga thing and a giant Connect 4 thing.
Jumbo Jenga
Jumbo Jenga.
The kids are coming to Jumbo Jenga.
and some wine.
I'm going to fucking pass out.
So I get
Get
home.
Mike's harder.
So she did good. I got home and she had all this stuff. She had the big giant human-sized Connect 4 and she had the giant.
I got the traps as you requested me, sir.
And then I Venmoed her what she paid. I paid her back, so she paid for it.
All the traps are set. Are the kids here yet?
Oh my god!
I want to imagine Tracy's building the Connect 4, and then Seth is
Crying.
getting ready in his robes and practicing his katas with
In the mirror.
with the 2 gold medals.
Yeah, you still got it, baby.
And then you play like the movie theme, with any karate movie, like basically what Seth used for his video, and then you walk out with the fog machine, and all your students clap.
I kind of want you to have a breakdown moment like Nate from that show, the soccer show, Ted Lasso, where you like look in the mirror and then you spit in it or punch it or something. Like I want there to be a
I mean, that was kind of the beard thing.
I want like a dysfunctional breakdown or something. I want you to talk to yourself.
So
Who's the best at karate, motherfucker?
when did they stop letting you compete because you're winning too much, and then
Do that. They gave you a trophy for winning so much. At the end of the year, if you win the most gold medals, you get this 10-foot trophy.
It's a child.
so
Me get the biggest, me trade little. Me take all little trophies, trade in for big
I want to
trophy.
put the trophy on my boat and go up boating.
So at the end of this, you were hoping to win the 10-foot karate trophy.
Yeah, I want my students to win it as well. No, it's for a dojo too, so I want everybody to do good so the whole dojo can get one too, not just individual myself.
Like the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
But if you win, you'll still get it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, why don't you just build one yourself?
But I don't know if that's going to happen because February 19th is the next tournament, and we're having our karate test that day, so we have to miss that tournament to do the karate test. So it's going to miss
You're not
us.
taking it seriously.
It's miss us. I know it's missing us on a bunch of points, but that's okay. What I was happy with is the kids that did so good. Honestly, the kids did great, and they were so. Afterwards, they got so much confidence. Even Riley, who got very, very upset, was stronger for this. She came back the next week after losing. She lost. And was like, I want to do private lessons. I want to do. She was like super mad that she lost. Motivated. Yeah. So that was cool to see.
That's what you want, right?
That's I
want
want
your
my
boys
son
to be like,
I lost and now I must crush them.
Yeah.
And that's why I competed. I wanted them to see that Sensei could do it too. And
But they've seen it like 100 times.
no, they haven't.
Like,
They see me teaching. They never see me do anything.
Okay.
They begged me at the end of the class to do a kata. Like, please, Sensei,
Please
do a
have
kata
another
for us."
pool party.
do the split between the chairs.
We love that. Grown man splits. Grown man. They chant. It's weird. It's
I
weird.
see the muscle man. You're holding the dumbbells above your head.
But the family, the family. It's the only part I know.
He's watching Encanto.
All right, Seth. Can you do some news?
Oh.
We got a guest
Sure.
coming on in like 20 minutes.
All right, I got a bunch of news. I'll pick the good ones.
All right. Well, you get the good one. I will get your button. And here we go.
99 MRIs trying to prove he's gonna die. The CT is kicking in with every new hit at the gym. He laid out Kimbo with an attack, but the Russian won't call him back. And we all forgot about that fight. Just won't prove for long you're gonna die. It's Seth Petrozelli with your Douche Bro News. Narps.
Douche Bro News.
Brought to you by White Claw. I believe the White Claw Variety Pack 2 has a new flavor, right? I've been seeing that on the BDM page.
Oh, was it passion fruit, I think?
Yeah, they swapped one of them out. Yeah.
Mango, I think, because mango was a duplicate, I think, for the
Too
Variety
many
Pack.
mangoes. It's in every goddamn
3.
pack.
Yeah. Because then they got 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And then with the passion fruit flavor. Anyway, I like White Claw Surge, too, if you want 1 or 2.
Careful with those.
I call those, that is the theme park fuel. And what I mean by that is you carry one with them, with you while you're going to the theme parks. You just drink that on the way and you're good.
Yep.
That's all you need, one.
Use hashtag claw me.
Oh, and somebody in the chat room, I think it was Abraham Dragon Friend, asked if your kids won at the tournament, and they did. A lot of the kids won.
Oh, yeah. So we took 12 people total, kids and adults. There's a 6 and 6, 6 kids, 6 adults, 7 gold medals, 2 silver medals, and 7 bronze medals. And
So,
this was
I mean,
everybody's
all
first
jokes
tournament.
aside, we're making fun, but the
that's
kids
good, man.
stepped up and they brought home some. They're
Very
bringing
good.
home some
for
silverware.
their very first tournament ever, and all these other kids have competed before.
And I know you were really stoked about that because you were letting us know that you were really
I
happy
was.
about
I was
the kids.
super happy about.
So
I'm proud.
Anyway,
that they did.
all jokes aside, I want to make sure you let the real stuff know.
First story.
First story is about kids as well.
Uh-oh.
So a 13-year-old, a young boy, he is tortured during a horror sleepover by a group of girls.
Wait, you just had a sleepover with kids.
This
is
bad.
this about you?
This is bad. This is a bad look.
Yeah, well, the reason I picked this story is because I remember a lot, and I don't think this is talked about a lot. I know guys and girls back and forth with whoever does bad things to each other. But when I was younger, I remember being like picked on and not tortured, but
'Cause
picked
you were
on
fat?
a lot. Oh yeah, big time because I was fat and my hair
What would
was
they
my hair
do?
was disheveled. They
What
would
was
just
wrong with your hair? I
poke
didn't know
it.
you had hair.
I had like they called me mophead.
Oh,
I had like long. It was just
you're a fat mom head? Oh, man.
mop head, mop looked like a mop head. Yeah. So anyway, I was picked on and poked at, called pork belly a lot.
Pork belly.
Pork
Oh, my
belly's
God.
delicious.
Pork belly mom head.
And
So-
but who would pick on you? Like just the kids at school, your
The
friends?
kids at school. Yeah, the girls especially. The girls at school. Yeah, they would just the girls.
This
a lot
all
of the
fucking
girls.
makes sense now.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
I mean,
Anyway,
I feel like we're detectives on the crime. There's something-
this was when I was really little. though.
Everything always makes sense.
Yeah.
At the
Oh,
end,
yeah.
It really does. And it's usually pretty
you-
Just
simple
see a
shit.
few little pieces of information.
Yeah, you see crazy stuff. You're like, well, how the hell does that happen? Then you hear the whole, all the
Yeah.
video. You're like, okay.
Sometimes all it takes is 2 segments about karate tournaments. You got it all figured out.
So what happened?
So anyway, the 13-year-old boy had been staying at one of the girls' homes when the attack happened. The girl was 15. He was 13.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's weird as well, right? That's
My parents.
I mean, out of context, yes, that's weird. I don't know what's going on there.
I wasn't allowed to do nothing. There were no
Unless
girls
it was
staying
like
at my house.
she had a little brother and he was there for that. I don't know. I don't know the story.
Yeah, it's weird.
So while he was staying over, the group of girls, 3 or 4 of them, unleashed a prolonged assault on the boy, kicking and punching him. They punched him in the groin and burnt his arm with a cigarette lighter.
God
They
damn.
duct tape was used to bind his ankles and wrists and to cover his mouth. They used a pair of kitchen scissors to cut his hair and shave his eyebrows and repeatedly punch him in the balls.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's so bad.
It is terrible, but for whatever reason, there's something where like we've never. If it was the opposite,
See, if it was
if
opposite, that's
boys
what I'm
or-
saying. If it was opposite, how fucked up we would not be laughing.
No,
Well,
hell no.
Inside.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, this is just it's just as bad.
It absolutely is.
But-
But for some reason, when you
No.
hear it, just the phrase, and they repeatedly punched him in the balls, for some reason, I want to laugh at that.
yeah.
But this sounds terrible. Did
So
did
what-
they arrest all of them?
The group moved outside. They're just touching how he tried to escape and run out. They ran after him, grappled him, and drug him back in the
Oh
house.
my God.
To continue.
Were they trying to
fucking
kill
with
him or something?
I
Or
don't
was
know.
it-
They weren't trying to kill him. They were just
fucking around?
further assault, and the boys stole him.
know,
They stole his phone.
The only time I had girls come into my house, I was in Key Club at DeLand High, and I'd been selected to be like the Keyette. It's back when that service club, Key Club, was segregated for gender. So there were females called Keyettes, and then there was Key Club. And now it's not like that. Now it's like boys and girls all in one service club together.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
called
yeah.
Key Club. But that's how much that's how quickly things have changed since like the 90s, you know. But I remember they did this thing called Key at Casanova, and then they had got a hold of my mom and dad ahead of time, and then they let the girls in. It was like one of those dumb things where the girls come in, they give you like a party basket, and they're like, yeah, and then they take you out to breakfast or something. And it was and truthfully, like I was happy about it because I had girls in my room, but I didn't get to do anything with any of them, so it sucked. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But at that age, you're happy to be around.
Yeah, I was
any
just
girl.
happy to have
Yeah,
any
yeah.
girl in my room.
I wonder if when they started beating him up, if he was like, oh, like,
That's kind of what I was thinking.
I mean, I'm
is
just
like,
going 13-year-old boy, but or if like, why was he even
obviously-
over there?
He knew them,
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't. I read this
It
whole
said,
thing. It
yeah,
doesn't
said
say
he
why.
was
It's over
staying there, but it doesn't say
doesn't
why.
say why. Yeah.
So like this, like the scenario where what was the movie? Was it called Bully?
Oh yeah.
Where it was like
about that
friends, like seemingly they're friends, but there was one bully that was like bullying the others and like bullying one real bad, and like like this happens and been happening throughout years, right?
Well, those
Where,
type
like,
of movies were like, man, early 2000s, there were a slew of movies where like the bully would bully a pack of kids. The pack of kids have had enough, and they, through a series of weird things, the kid falls down, like hits his head in a ravine and dies. So then they chop him all up and bury him because they get scared. I mean, that was like that was a brand of movie in the early 2000s.
But we also forget, like a lot of times, the bully is considered your friend. Because especially kids' relationships are trying to like make friends, and like they may only have known each other for 8 months or whatever, but it's a long time.
I have one that comes
Kids
to
are
mind that
dickheads,
bullied
too.
me incessantly, and he was still considered my friend.
And
Yes,
he'd
that's
probably
correct.
think and tell people like I'm his friend.
Yes.
But he's like
Oh,
doing
just
this.
fucking around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it goes, and this seems like it's something that went too far. And then there's a weird group psychology where like, and they've done experiments before where like they'll turn some college kids into the prison guards and then the prisoners, and then immediately
it's a group thing.
they'll
The
start
abuse of
doing
power bullshit.
They'll
yeah.
start doing crazy shit they normally wouldn't do. So it's like all of them together start beating up this kid, and then they all like egg on each other, and then the group mentality. Individually they probably never do this,
But as
so
a group,
they charge him with some sort of crime.
The judge let her go, saying that he felt that she had genuine remorse and nothing would happen to her. So she changed schools, but then another court overturned that and said she needed to do like 15 months of community service. Something.
18 months, yeah.
18 months, yeah, something.
That
like
is very.
There's only one of the girls, and they all participate.
It just says one 15-year-old, but there was a group of participants, so it doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
it says
ringleader.
she pled guilty.
You know what's interesting about this is I do think it's possible to have somebody who might be like IQ-wise not intelligent enough to actually know that their actions are not playful. I've seen that before, where I've seen people that are doing something like they think they're like funning, and I'm like, holy shit, that's way too far. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, you don't have a good concept of like even playing hard, and it can be, I guess that can be dangerous when you do that.
Now, for the boy that got beat up, right? Is I have no idea in the teenage generation. I mean, because if you think back into when we grew up, this kid would be made fun of forever, right? But nowadays, probably not as much.
I had an instance where my mom leaked something. Like, we were having parties in the woods and drinking and shit, and my mom and a group of other mothers had found out, and then my mom was the one who actively like shut it all down, right? So then word got back to like all of the different guys, my buddies.
Oh, you're
and
the nerd with the mom.
It
that-
was pretty bad, dude. It was pretty bad. Like, they were really, really mean to me.
Well, you shut the party down.
I didn't shut shit down. My mom did.
Well, how'd you find out?
I didn't tell her. The other moms did, but she was the one that acted. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
other moms, like moms may know shit, but they don't have to do it. They could be cool.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
this instant, my mom, I think, was concerned about me drinking and driving, is what I'm going to guess.
Ah.
So she just shut it down. And man, I remember all of the dudes were very angry with me.
And around 15 is that type of around that age range where women get they're bigger, girls are bigger than the boys, especially if boys don't
She
go
was
through
older
puberty
anyway.
late. But it's like if a 13-year-old boy, if you haven't really hit puberty yet, like you could be way small. I mean,
like
a
even
15-year-old
me.
girl could tower over you easily
Sam
stronger.
or Andrea, they could beat
I
me
remember the girls are
senseless.
bigger than me with that smack me around.
When they were calling you pork belly,
Yeah,
whatever.
pork belly. Yeah. What
Well,
were your
one
name?
I got,
Pork
one I
belly
deserved
mophead.
it.
What were your name? Pork belly mophead.
Pork
right?
belly mophead.
What else?
Yeah, that's,
Is there
Pudge ball was my
Pudge ball. Pudge ball.
Pudge ball.
Oh.
Is there any girl in the world right now that could beat you in a fight?
No.
Okay.
This is,
All right, back to you. Next story. Next story.
Okay. This one I found pretty interesting because everyone feels like ecstasy now. Like it's kind of like it's being more accepted as like a an okay drug to do.
I think
in small
all of
quantity.
those drugs, mushrooms, ecstasy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
acid, everybody's like, oh, you got to microdose. That's the only way you're going to ever have your personality be regular and real. I'm like, really? What if I just don't do any drug? No. The only way that you're going to have your true self is if you got to microdose until you die. And I'm like, well, we all just found this out now?
Yeah.
That's the thing?
So one guy took 40,000 ecstasy pills.
Oh, my God.
over a 9-year period, but that's still he took about 25 pills a day for 4 years. 25.
Oh my
pills.
God.
Is this the guy that was in the documentary where he is literally fried? There's a documentary.
Well-
I don't know where it's at, but they document this guy, and he's like addicted to raves, and kind of like a rednecky guy, but he just loves raves and he loves ecstasy. And they do this documentary on him, and dude, he is on it. He is
Is it
not
Tiger King?
He is no. It's like this guy. Like when you're looking into him, you're like, you're not there, man. You're just you're on a different plane.
I don't even. Well, so you're taking multiple at a time. Obviously, when you wake up in the morning, and then so how like. I mean,
Maybe not. You might space it out. You know what I mean?
Well, no.
Oh, you're
not-
spaced out.
I'm
This
just
girl's not
taking
spacing it out.
24. Now you're taking like 4, 6 times a day or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
That's a pain pill thing, not an ecstasy thing, right?
or you're taking one every half hour. Like and then you could OD easily,
Well,
right?
are you
build up-
I
normal?
would
You're
think
probably
so.
you feel nothing, right? That's why you take so many.
Yeah, you're probably normal at that point. So all said and done, they calculated how much he's done and why he stopped. He stopped because he started getting he collapsed a few times at some parties
well, yeah.
because of it. So obviously went to the hospital. They started him on taking him off. So the first few months, he felt like he was still under influence of ecstasy and suffered several episodes of tunnel vision. He eventually developed severe panic attacks, recurrent anxiety, depression, muscle rigidity. Thank you. And hallucinations and paranoid delusions.
Yeah, I mean that much.
Just keep me on it then.
It's MDMA. Is
Yeah.
that, like so? If that much for that long every single day, you can't. Your brain is gonna freak out if you get off of it, right? And
Yeah,
then
it
is
would
there?
have to.
I mean, I'm sure you're addicted to it. I don't know if you're chemically addicted, but I'm sure your body's used to it. So
How do you function? Like, what's your normal day if you're on ecstasy? I mean, anytime
Well,
I did it, it was a party thing. It wasn't like I was going to like Subway to make sandwiches for people for 9 hours. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
like that's got to be insane.
So
I can't even imagine that.
His daily functioning skills were he wasn't able to fully understand instructions given to him. His concentration and attention were so
I
impaired
bet it felt pretty good.
that he was unable to follow anything anybody said to him. Like he just couldn't understand.
So how
what
do you
were
live?
telling him.
Were people taking
Well-
care of him? Like was he laying at his mom's house? Just laying there.
No, he's
and
at
they're like,
this is at a hospital, at a rehabilitation center.
No, I'm saying up until
Oh,
the point where he decided
yeah.
to try and get off of it. Was he like
He
what?
was normal.
What
It
was-
sounds like.
was he normal on it? Because
apparently because he was partying and he said he just collapsed a few times.
Yeah.
That's why he stopped. So
yeah, but I'm sure.
I want to get that stumble checked out.
Remember when people were dying, but that was bad ecstasy, right? Like it was big. There was other shit in it that was
Yeah.
causing people to like
Make 'em
remember
heat up.
You would get basically
Your
a
body
heat
would
stroke
overheat,
or whatever.
yeah.
So that wasn't because of the MDMA. That was the other whatever else was in the pill. Or was it just a MDMA reaction that you had because everybody's different?
Yeah, the chat room's going straight bullshit on this just because of the cost of ecstasy pills. But, I mean, I could see that. Ecstasy would be expensive. I don't know the going price of ecstasy.
I mean, this guy could have been rich. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like he would have had to have
I
been
don't know
in
how
order
many
to
rich kids you guys knew growing up, but they did a lot of drugs.
a lot. Well, the ones I knew died of drugs.
Because they had the money.
Also,
yeah,
he
the
could-
ones I know died of
He
drugs.
could have
better
been
drugs.
selling it and then just taking
right.
it and then
taking
just
a cut. Yeah.
taking the dipping into a
God, come to
supply.
think
I
of
thought
it,
it read
the
how he
one
was
I'm
doing now,
referencing even is telling you that, Sam, died because of a sort of a pathway ecstasy. Yeah. Not that I think that's what killed this particular person, but that was their drug of choice.
Your body can be normal after the worst shit has happened to people, and then over years they just rehabilitate, and then they go back to normal. Like severe brain injury and things, like people can get back from that. It takes a long time and a lot of work, but they can get back to normal. So it's not like this guy's gonna be like that forever. The urban legend of the guy who took too much LSD and then now lives in a mental institution and thinks he's a banana.
You know,
you always hear that, right?
I've never heard of
that,
Banana
but I've
Man.
never looked it up. You know what I mean? Like,
Of course, yeah.
Because I think I'm just like most normal people. I'm just like, yeah, I think I can believe that.
It was stories that all our parents and then society told kids to keep them from doing hardcore drugs to scare them or whatever.
Yeah.
But whether that was real or not, I'm sure people. We know people have psychosis and stuff like that.
You've done ecstasy.
Why'd you
No,
point? Why'd
I
you point at me?
No, well,
You've done ecstasy.
Yeah, I've done it.
I've done ecstasy. Sam's never done. Tom's never done it.
So me and Tom need to do it.
Not together.
cut that.
If you do,
Jack will make a song out of that.
Out of all the drugs I've ever done,
should go on my boat and do it.
I would do ecstasy. No,
I'll never get on a fucking boat.
I got
Freaking out
a
of
kid.
my-
I probably would never do it again. I'd never say
Oh, I'll
never,
never
but
do it.
I got a kiddo. But I
God, it's hot,
I
massage
enjoyed
me.
it. I enjoyed the feeling is pretty
The
awesome.
feeling is good.
And I don't like
I didn't like-
saying
I didn't like
that
the next
because
day.
like I'm not pro drugs. You know, I don't want people to think that at all. But
I am.
if I'm being honest to you, the feeling of doing it was very good. But it was scary because you didn't know what you were doing, and that's why you shouldn't, I mean, if it's controlled in a certain way, I guess, or if the person you can trust them, but
Well, just like mushrooms, it's all about the microdose of it, right? It's like you start super microdosing MDMA or whatever to get like the feel of it, or like that's going to help
benefit.
you, a benefit or whatever. So that's what everybody's
Yeah.
doing now. So that I see like, all right, I'd try that, but a full pill, I don't have a freak out.
Well, we
you
should
know?
probably go to break just because we got only a couple minutes
we
before our
can
guest.
totally do
is
that.
jumping
We can
on.
totally do that.
Yeah,
We're
we'll finish
trying
news after our guest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're trying new things.
I
I
guess.
don't know if I have
Doing
time for that.
different
I'm
things.
gonna have to leave it too.
No, that's fine.
All right.
Not that good.
The name of the band. Yeah, a little low energy today,
What do
kind of
you mean?
negative stories.
It's because you all burnt me out on the one before.
I 4 out of 10.
What
I
happened
give it.
before?
I give it a 4 out of
It's
10.
fine.
The karate video with you punching Jim Henson, that's a 9 out of 10.
You say
You can bring that shit all day long. I'll watch you beat up old men. I won't say I like that you're doing it, but
but
I'll laugh at it.
Why
You don't like that I'm doing it.
Why
Well, it's
are
just
you-
kind of mean and weird. It's weird.
Seth also texted me. He's like, I want to be on the 666 show.
That's important to me. Every time I hear the show number, I'm like, how close is it to 666?
And then I'm like, all right. I guess
one
I'll-
10
person-
shows away.
One person said they like your news. See, hey,
Thank you. That's all that matters.
All you need is one.
all you need
They're
is
paying
one.
some bills.
The name of the band, Future Perfect Sound. The name of the song, Got Nothing to Prove. This is fun. We'll be back with more on Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan momentarily. 1-844-TOMNDAN.
Woke up at night on the wrong side of the bed, ready to fly.
Welcome back to A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan, and this is super duper, really, really cool. And I know that this means a lot to you because you're a mega fan.
Yeah.
So to hear this name kind of slide across our desk is amazing.
Well, how this happened is we heard our sponsor, the Orange County Library System. They do a lot of really cool stuff. By the way, get your library card.
Yeah.
What they offer is amazing.
Yeah, you have a world of freedom and knowledge right at your fingertips, and yes, it is free.
And then I heard that they had a guest, and they're going to be doing a live stream keynote at their Chickasaw branch of the Orange County Library System. And that's going to happen tomorrow, February 5th, from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. And you can go there and actually talk to our guest that I'm a huge fan of, Les Stroud. How you doing, Les?
Hey, I'm good, guys. How are you guys doing? Good?
Great,
Yeah,
great.
Not bad at all, man. Thanks for the time.
First, let's talk about the children's book you wrote, which I got to get for my sons, and it's Wild Outside, Around the World with Survivor Man. So when did this start? How did this come about, Les?
Oh, I guess it started with a relationship with Anik Press in Toronto, Canada. A couple of years ago, we were looking at different possible books I could write for them in the children's world. And in the end, we not to use this word in a negative sense, but we kind of defaulted to, okay, well, you are Survivor Man, and, you've already got, your Survive manual out there and other books like that. Can we do something directed, right at the kids, sort of 7 to 12-year-olds, 7 to 14-year-olds? And I had a blast, just such a blast doing it, because I wasn't writing it to adults. I was writing it to the kids, and this was to be a book of my experiences and all sorts of other things with it. But yeah, that's how it started. It was just this conversation with Anik Press until we landed on what to do.
That's awesome.
So let's talk about Survivor Man, because I was a huge fan of the show, and I think I've seen all the episodes.
We got to a point in our day job, we were working morning radio, where you and I would get bored, and then we would spend the rest of the morning Googling your videos and just watching, and because we wanted to try and figure out how he was able to do it. Do you remember that portion of time when we were like, how is he getting the footage?
Yeah, so let's just go back to the start of Survivor Man and the idea of filming yourself in the wild. And so how did that come about? And then I got a bunch of questions after, though, but we'll start there.
Well, I mean, it was really quite simple on my part. Having been an instructor for about 15 years or so, that includes learning to become one.
Sure.
I really just, at one point, just wanted to do home instructional videos. I mean, literally when I was first thinking about it, I would have been making VHS tapes. But years passed by and time went on until eventually it just seemed like the time was right. And I made a call to a network and said, listen, you know, I'm a lone guy. And I'd already started, you know, I'd done lots of film work. So I can put my filmmaking and my survival instruction together and come out with this sort of odyssey of how to survive in the wilderness. And there was absolutely nothing like it on television. It just didn't exist. I mean, Survivor Man, you know, essentially was the zeitgeist for the entire genre that we now know as survival TV. So it was an interesting place to be as a creator, because I was up against people saying, well, here's a great quote for you. This is something that one producer said to me when I was pitching her Survivor Man. She legitimately said, Les, and she was very condescending, no one's ever going to want to watch people surviving on television.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, oh yeah. And I just thought in my head, oh no, you're missing this. You're not getting this. I walked down the hallway. The next producer said, "You're kidding. Jill passed on this? Yeah, let's give it a try."
That's insane.
It literally sparked a huge, entire genre that's still going on. And Les, I got to ask you about this. Were you a part of at all the Netflix Alone show that they? Because I watched the whole thing and I'm like, this is what Les Stroud used to do. They're taking what
feels similar.
So did they? Are you familiar with that? And did they, talk to you and get your expertise when it comes to that kind of thing?
It's even better than that. So cool little backstory to it, and I'll keep it really brief. But at one point, I met about 8 people who were on the show alone, and I met the head instructor, survival instructor for the series.
Yeah.
And that's when I found out that, in fact, you know what they do to prepare for Alone? They go to a thing called boot camp and you know what they do at boot camp? They watch the entire series of Survivor Man.
Really?
I'm not kidding you. This was out of the words of the mouth of the head instructor for the series Alone. And so, we could go on and on about, all these other shows and all that. I'll right out of the starting gate, I will point one thing out. It's unfortunate that the stories that are told on that particular series are not the stories that actually take place out in the woods. But that's not to diss the people themselves, because the people who are actually on Alone are going through it. Some of them are phenomenal survival people.
Right.
They're doing really great things, but the producers get it, and you know how it goes. They get it back to Los Angeles and they cook up a whole different story.
Right.
So it maintains my point that, everything after Survivor Man was staged and bogus.
Yeah. Well, to bring that up, I was going to talk to you about during when Survivor Man was on and I was watching it, and then it spawned off a bunch of offshoots of other survival series and survival TV.
And I did it backwards. I watched another one, and then you told me, you're like, no, you got to watch this guy.
And then Les, and then of course Bear Grylls, and was another that was kind of in my mind when I was watching you guys, I was like, oh, Bear Grylls is the other guy that's doing it like Les. But I always looked at you and Les is doing it for real.
Yeah.
Bear Grylls is kind of more of a reality show.
And then it
Someone's
became
following him.
Chevy Ford, in people's houses. You know?
During that time, Les, did you have any contact with Bear Grylls, or was there any sort of beef at all, or is it just you were doing your thing, he was doing his?
Kumite fight.
How deep you want to go down the rabbit hole? I'll keep it fairly brief for you. Contact with him? Why would I? He was an actor. And I was a serious survival instructor who happened to also be a filmmaker, and I put the two things together.
Yeah.
Beef and situation. Well, in fact, when it first happened, my lawyer said, "Do we want to sue them?" Because they legitimately lifted my whole format. But what they and then they went on to basically stage and create and produce nonsensical stuff when it comes to actual survival instruction. Remember, I came from being a teacher. I'm teaching survival. So to me, I was still very passionate about it.
Yeah.
And then along comes all these guys who are just acting their part. Then they recruit other actual teachers, but they drink the Kool-Aid and get them to act the part. So you get into Cody and dual survival and all that. So no, a beef, was I stung by it? I'd be lying if I didn't say at the time, yeah, of course I was. Like, you're kidding? I had my format ripped off, and then they faked it all. And then they pretended that they were actually doing it. So sure, there was a time, you can say, oh, he sounds like he's still kind of pissed about it. Well, in a way, yeah, but I mean, certainly I've grown up and I'm way past it, but that's the truth of how it all was going down.
Yeah, and you're allowed to still, I mean, it may not bother you anymore, but you're still allowed to be irritated by it because it's still reality and what happened.
And Les, I feel like you, from coming from a place of instruction, and you wanted to get out real information, and then you see a guy squeezing an elephant turd to get and then you're
like, part of the knowledge base?
You're just Steve-O now. Like, you're just drinking turd water for entertainment. And it's like, and then, of course, I remember the time when the internet blew up with pictures of like Bear Grylls standing next to a highway where they were filming, and they're like, and then it started being like, oh, he's a fraud.
Yeah.
And then I feel like people then started saying like all these shows are frauds, and then I'm like, no, Les is real. He's doing it for real.
Yeah.
And did you, when that whole thing came to light and people did start seeing these other survival shows for what they are, Did anybody try to like discredit you in any way, or like investigate
you,
to make sure that you were doing it for real, because you were, right?
I was absolutely doing it for real, right from the very beginning, right to the very end, and 22 years really of doing it. And sure. A few people came along and said, "Oh, it's got to be a bunch of nonsense. He's not doing it for real." But in the end, here, I'll tell you a really cool. I've never told this story before. There was a moment, for example, when before, say, Bear was found out to be staying in hotels and stuff like that, where I was arguing with one of the head producer at Discovery Channel. I said, okay, you because the networks like to claim ignorance. They don't really want to know what's happening over there. They just want the show, and then they promote it. So there's a disconnect there, right?
Yeah.
And I said, listen, John, you do know that whole thing is faked, right? And he's, no, I said, okay, I'll tell you what. I want you to call Men's Journal magazine. You get them, and I'll even pay for them to come to a location to watch me film. They can surprise me. Just show up on location and do the same thing with Bear Grylls, and then you tell me. And he wouldn't, he's like, well, and he wouldn't go for it, right? But my case in point was, remember, it's like kind of like, I don't know, it's like saying, like in the old days, I forget who it was, the Amazing Kreskin. It was like, I'll give anybody $25,000 to prove that I'm not doing what I'm doing.
Right. Amazing Randy, yeah.
For a time there, I was like, you know what? Surprise me. Show up in the middle of where I am, and you will see that, well, where's Les? Well, he's out there shooting his show, and there's nobody out there. None of the other shows could do that. So, sure, there was some naysayers on me, but they couldn't go very far with it because I actually was doing it.
Yeah, right. And what people didn't realize is the amount of work you did behind the scenes and your team did with scouting the location and making sure everything was safe, because that's another part of it too, is like you want to put yourself in, you're putting yourself in a dangerous situation, but you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you can get hurt or killed.
Unsolvable task.
That would be bad for everything. I mean, even for the lesson of survival too. So it's like you were really smart about it, and you were.
It all comes back to the educational aspect.
Exactly. So
well, and if you think about it, here's my bar. My bar was, I had dozens of survival cronies, buddies of mine, men and women who are amazing survival teachers. I had to know that they could watch the show and not go, Les, what are you doing? And I wanted to keep the respect of, I'm teaching really great stuff here and real stuff. So sure, I wasn't scaling off cliffs, because you wouldn't do that. Right. And I think if people watch the other episodes, the other shows, Alone, Naked and Afraid, Man vs. Wild, Dual Survival, on it goes. And if they know that it's all fake, just like watching the WWE, they know this is all scripted and set up. Great. Enjoy the entertainment. But if you're watching thinking, oh, my gosh, no, they're really in jeopardy there, that Cody London and then no. Well, then it's like, well, wake up and smell the coffee, because that's not what's going on.
Right.
So, Les, in speaking of that Netflix series Alone, is like, okay, the guy that won, okay, I don't want to spoil it, but he shot a buffalo, or not a buffalo, it was I forgot the animal that was up there.
Oh yeah, we talked about this.
What kind of? It was like a musk ox, right? I think, Les. And he shot a musk ox with an arrow, then tracked it, and then ended up stabbing it to death. It was crazy. And I was like, is that real? Like, did he really do that?
Right.
And so, do you know anything about that, if that was real or not?
I can only comment on the peripheral, because I haven't seen that and haven't watched that. But what I can say to you is, think about it in the scope of making a series for television where you want to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
At some point, if you look at what I did, for example, I might get this show's kind of boring. Do you have any idea how boring it is to be out in the middle of the woods for 7 days alone? It's very boring. It's crushingly boring, right? Well, producers with money on the line, lots of money on the line, they can't afford to have that happen. They have to have content that is exciting. So you really think that even a show like Alone, and again, this is never going to be a diss against the people on the show. A lot of those people are really trying hard to be part of something and actually survive.
Sure.
But around them, the production side of it is completely all like, okay, well, let's put this person over there because we know we can get that to happen, and let's do that. So they're setting this all up in ways to create a story that they want to be able to edit and put out. And so for getting a muskox with a bow and arrow, first of all, not even certain about the legalities of that, which means they probably, if you were asking me to guess on this, didn't see it, I would say they had to get an incredible amount of special permission. It was probably, I don't even know if you can legally even do that. They're a protected animal. So you gotta, but like I said, if you're watching for entertainment, go for it. But behind the scenes,
they shoot it out of a cage. They got a bunch of permits. It was like
they're whipping it.
It was already old.
And you know what? I'm glad you kind of told us that. Like, it makes a lot more sense. Thinking about your show in the terms of you already coming from that world. You're in that world with all of your friends that do the same thing and like-minded from this educational aspect. It makes so much more sense that your show would be based on that and that alone, not the actor version of that, which is release the animal and kill it.
So, well, speaking
of, and you guys could, sorry to interrupt you there, Tom, but you guys could go down, the rabbit hole you can go down in all the things that are done behind the scenes. It's thousands of situations. I was just in Belize. I was filming my Wild Harvest series, actually, a new series on PBS. I was filming it in Belize. And while we were there, I happened to be with the guy who was the Belizean fixer for Bear Grylls' show that he did in Belize. It was his son that built the raft that Bear used. And when Bear turns to the camera saying he's eating this snake that he caught, it is actually Kentucky Fried Chicken he's eating.
He's eating Kentucky Fried Chicken. Oh, come on. Hold on.
And shout out to PBS. My wife works for PBS, so good luck with the new show, man. That's awesome.
Well, on PBS, I got Wild Harvest, which is a local foraging. Again, I'm just teaching again, right? Teaching wild edible plants, right?
Yeah, it's real
I got
stuff.
Surviving Disasters, which is a pledge special at the moment, which is really helpful for all the disasters going on. And I've got my film called La Loche, which is about actually a documentary about a school shooting and a canoe trip up in Canada. So I'm still very active. That's for sure. That's for certain.
Oh man.
Well, Les, another thing that I think about you when I see these new survival series like that Alone, and I'm watching them do what you always did.
Other ones coming out too.
Like filming yourself. You always did a brilliant job in telling the story, and I always thought this was super impressive because, like you said, you had the skills to survive out in the middle of nowhere for 7 days, but you also had amazing videography skills.
You had B-roll for days, and I'm like, how does he do this? I was like, is he going backwards and putting a camera up and just filming the canoe?
I'm not joking. I make the joke on the show all the time about something that I make fun of that bothered me was when you have the shot of you walking away from the camera. I always thinking, or when I was watching Survivor Man, in my back of my mind, like, oh no, he's got to come all the way back and get it. And then it would always bother me because and then I'm like, man, he's doing a tremendous amount of
dedicated. He's doubling up everything.
Yeah, he's doing a tremendous amount of work just to get that a shot of him walking away from.
Because he's not just a survivalist, he's got that creative film brain on there.
So how was that as far as like putting together the shots, because it was always done really well?
Well, thank you. And you're right. You tapped right into it there that I had to be of a split mind out there. I had to be the guy trying to survive for real in those scenarios and situations. And I had to be the filmmaker and tell the story and capture the story. And there's a lot of labor, a lot of effort in doing that. But the passion, it would trade off a lot of times. There'd be times where the survival was really tough and my filmmaking would suffer because it's like, oh man, regardless of filming, I got to get this roof up. It's going to be raining tonight.
Yeah.
And there were other times when it'd be like, you know what, it's 70 degrees and the sun is shining and I just got some berries that I'm eating. And so then I'd be like playing with the camera angles and really filming well. So it was always a yin and a yang, pulling back and forth between being a filmmaker and being the guy teaching the survival stuff. What I did was beyond setting up the scenario. And over the years, it got even more fun to look and say, okay, what else would happen? Oh, well, people get stuck in cars. Okay, I'm going to get myself stuck in a car for 4 days and see. So I could set the scenario, set the scene up, and then it's like, drop me in there. And then I go with it. I just go with that scene. So everything else from that moment on is and I'm basically always saying, hey, I'm you. And here's what you could do if you were stuck in this situation, rather than me saying, I'm survival guru guy, watch me be a hero. Obviously, there were skills that I had and there were things I could do really well. But I tried to, I wouldn't downplay them. But if I could ever do something I'd never done before, I would not practice it. I would do it on camera, just like you would if you got stuck. But you're right. It was always a challenge to be both the filmmaker and the survival instructor at the same time.
And that's almost three brains because you're having to do educational survivalist, in telling the story and helping people to learn what you're doing. Then you have to do I'm really surviving, which is real. And then you're having to do filmmakers just sitting over here like, let me pick the angles. That's crazy,
Les,
man.
did you ever just leave you're like, screw it, I'm not walking all the way back for it. I'm leaving it. It's done.
Get that GoPro.
I did actually twice. I walked away from my gear when the Jaguar chased me out of the Amazon jungle.
Yeah.
I walked away from the gear and I told the crew, you guys got to go back and get it, man. I couldn't bring it all. And then I walked away from the gear in Utah Canyonlands. Same thing. I had a big, long hike up a big, huge hill. And that's, by the way, that was one episode where people thought they caught me. They caught him cheating sort of thing. Because like, look, we see where he was. He was pretty close to the road. And I said, yes, I am close to the road. That's not the point. I'm down in the valley and I'm isolated for a week doing this thing. Could I walk out? Yes, of course I could walk out. I said that in the beginning. And I've done that in a few places where I've said, theoretically I could walk out of this, but that's not what I'm here to do. So, that was the reality of it. Sometimes I was helicoptered in, sometimes I boated in, sometimes I walked in, which means I could walk out, So it was actually, there was a lot of fun to it in many ways for me. That's for certain.
There was another part too where I see nowadays the cameras are lighter. People have GoPros with extended batteries. You were doing it with DV camera, heavy ass equipment.
DV,
So it's how heavy was the equipment that you had to lug around when you were doing Survivor Man?
Well, the very beginning was my bad. I tried to use higher quality camera gear, and I actually had shoulder mount cameras like Sony Beta, Digi Beta cams and stuff like that. Just ridiculous. And really, I did. You know what? Survivor Man happened in the era that was just perfect for me to make it happen. It was just pre the amazing cameras that are small, but it was in the process of making them small. There was a camera called a Sony VX1000, I think it was called, and it had a quality to it. It was still, I think it was still high 8 film. Was it? Maybe it was the next generation after high 8 film. And here's a funny thing behind the scenes story is that the networks at the time had a quality control rule that you were only allowed to use 10% of your show with consumer grade camera. But they were a little behind the times because the new small cameras, consumer grade, prosumer grade, were actually pretty good. So I would just lie to them and say, oh, no, this was shot on Sony Digi Betacam and it's, 90%. And I think I got away with it right until halfway through season 2. And then a QC at Discovery Channel said, hey, these lines don't match up. He's not using big pro cameras. And by that point, I just turned to the executives and I said, well, you don't have to have me make the show. But it was already a hit at that point. So they just told the QC guy to shut up. Said, fine. It's Les Stroud. It's Survivor Man. He can shoot on what he wants to shoot on.
Oh, man, you
are right. It's way easier today.
You've answered a question I've always wondered if they had a problem with getting prosumer or consumer grade stuff because I know they hate that. You know, even here when they ask for an air check or something, we'll send them something from our stream and it's just, it's not good enough. Sorry, can't use it. And it's like, well, where are you? Because the rest of the world is moving on with stuff that's, like smaller.
Well, I was always a really big believer that content is king. Content will always be king. Yeah. And so you have something amazing, a great story shot and told on some small Sony or Canon camera or something like that versus a crappy, boring, no story in there at all or made up nonsense shot on amazing cameras. I'd rather watch the former.
So,
sure.
Les, you already mentioned the Jaguar episode where you had to leave where you were because the Jaguar was literally stalking you. And I know there was an episode where they made you bring a rifle because of polar bears, and then they wouldn't let you go because of safety. But was there at any time filming was your life actually in danger at any time, or it get close, or like, oh, I pushed it too far, anything like that?
Close calls.
Yeah, I'd say 50% of the time I was in a scenario where if something went wrong, I was done. Like say I got bit by a furtillant snake in the Amazon jungle. Nobody's coming to get me. They're not supposed to come and get me for 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, however long it was. So 50% of the time it was definitely like that. The closest calls was the heat stroke in the Kalahari episode. But the closest was hypothermia in the Norway episode after I spent 4.5 days in the car. Then I was to hike down the mountain, and I miscalculated that hike. And the only time I really get in trouble is when I got cocky. I was like, I'm Survivor Man. What could go wrong? And then I'd get in trouble. And that Norwegian episode going down the there's stuff we didn't even include, like that I was like, because I was really, really I was in a lot of peril there, and hypothermia can kill you, and that was the closest I came to being in big trouble. But I will counter this by saying the reason why I really, other than Norway and maybe Kalahari when I got caught off guard by heat stroke and hypothermia, the reason why I didn't really get in big trouble is because I'm a survival instructor. I know what I'm doing, and what I'm doing is very calculated, very calm and cool and collected. I didn't take chances, and that's what I was there to teach. Come out alive.
Yeah.
Right? And so,
well, Les, I'm curious in the
I
fact...
think I just got to clear my plans to come to this thing at the library, Sam. I'm coming to... It's your location.
Yeah,
tomorrow. Again, it's the Chickasaw location in the Orange County Library, Saturday, February 5th at 2 p.m.
Yeah, man.
But, Les, do you... I'm sure you've thought about this because of the nature of the show, but did you ever think, okay, if I get bit by a snake or something poisonous, or you are well aware of what is in the area that could kill you, do you film it? And do you put the camera on yourself if you know, you said they can't get in here on time? Maybe I could call for
it. I don't know.
I know I don't want to be morbid.
He's a filmmaker.
But did you ever think about
content is king?
Do you put the camera on if you got bit by a snake and let it film your death? I mean,
oh my God!
I'm sorry.
I'll tell you. Assuming that I'm lucid. Not to play the hero, but the short answer is absolutely. But I have proof of that because when I went to film in Mongolia, we were just on the way to the location where they were going to drop me off, and I ended up in a very bad car accident. We rolled the Jeep at 50 miles an hour sideways twice, full rollovers, and when we landed, we came up, and I was the only one in the car that was injured. I had 3 broken ribs, a punctured lung, 2 dislocated shoulders, and a concussion, and torn muscles everywhere. And the first thing I said, because one of the things that I had that people thought they caught me on, but I always said, no, I have a Max, my faithful cameraman guy. He would be out getting shots of the birds and the bees and the sunrises and the sunsets, right? Yeah. First season, I did everything, including all the B-roll. But in the second season, I had Max shooting that stuff. Well, here we are now, years later. We're in Mongolia. We're on our way to a spot. We're going to drop Les off in this location. He's going to spend a week surviving in Mongolia. Okay, great. We have this big car accident. I'm wrecked up. The first thing I said to Max when he comes over to the car was, Max, camera. And it's all shot and it's on my YouTube channel. You can go watch that whole scene where I was in that car accident on my way to film a Survivor Man episode, and we ended up just putting the kibosh on the whole. I had to come back to Canada, and I went back a year later and finally filmed it. But case in point, I absolutely said, just start rolling the camera. Meanwhile, I'm doubled over in pain,
Well, Les, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
I do have one last question, and this is just because I've been a fan of you and always wondered this, because you look like you're so comfortable being alone, right? And and there's a certain enjoyment about being like out in the middle of nowhere and surviving and relying on yourself and stuff. But also you're a celebrity, which is like counterintuitive to liking being alone, or maybe you don't like it, or maybe you're just okay with it. But how is that being okay with being alone for so
being
long,
recognizable.
but then also you are a celebrity because of what you do?
Well, the easy answer is, first of all, I'm actually quite a gregarious person. And being alone, if you pardon the expression, being alone sucks. I hated being alone. But the creation part of it, I love being alone. I'm better as a creator in those scenarios. I mean, I also done many other films and things with teams, and I just love that. My Beyond Survival series, we had an 8-person crew, but and I love that too. But there was just a thing, right? So Survivor Man, to be effective, to be what it was, it had to be me alone, or there's no story there, because the cameraman's going to offer me, a Mars bar. And the producer, she's going to come over and say, can I give you a sandwich? And I'm going to say yes, and we're just going to, it wouldn't work. Yeah. So there was facility to me being alone. This is the only way that Survivor Man could have happened. But truth be told, the aloneness can be crushing. There were times, there was, I'll go a little emotional and personal in it. There was a period of time where during the filming Survivor Man, I was divorcing my wife. So those particular shows, like the Alaska episode, the aloneness was crushing.
Wow.
And it gets you in a very rough spot.
Wow.
So no, I never actually liked being alone filming Survivor Man, but I enjoyed the aloneness of my creation of being a filmmaker. Everything was on me, sort of thing. Couldn't blame anybody else for not getting the shot, right? So it was all on me. And then for the fan stuff and that, I got to say, what's been cool about being Survivor Man in the public is that I'm not a politician. So people only ever come up to me saying things like, "I love what you do, man. Hey, I grew up watching your show. I'm in the Marine Corps because of watching your survival show. I'm in environmental science because of yours." I get not hundreds, even thousands now of letters like that. And I'm very proud of that. And I will shake every hand and pose for every photograph and sign every autograph for the rest of my life, because they're only ever saying they like what I did. So I'm not going to be a jerk. And
has anybody ever said you saved my life because I used some of the
many times?
Really?
Many times. There's been plenty of news stories on that as well. Sometimes I won't even know. I'll see it in the headline. It'll say, "Got man lost for 5 days in a snowmobile in northern Canada. Credits Survivor Man for skills that kept him alive."
Wow,
that's awesome.
That's really cool.
And then that kind of makes everything worth it. I mean, because saving one life is insane. A lot of people can't say they do that, and your show did that for this person.
I've only ruined one life, and that's mine.
Well, Les, thanks so much for talking to us today.
Yeah.
Again, you can see Les live stream keynote is going to be at the Chickasaw location, the Orange County Library System.
Indeed.
Again, tomorrow, February 5th at 2 p.m. Les, thanks so much for talking to us today. Big fan. And
if you're in Orlando ever, and we'd love to have you stop back by and tell more tales, man, because this is
I'm actually in Orlando. I am on occasion, probably once a year, because of the Wild Harvest series. My presenting station is WGCU out of Naples, and so I come down through Florida to hang with them, and I'm planning on shooting a show in the Everglades. So I'll be down there. I'll be down there for
Tom's
sure.
family used to airboat the Everglades sideways.
There's all pythons down there now. It's all pythons.
Trying to capture.
We'd love to see you, and thanks again for the time. And
grab his book.
Grab the book, and thanks again, man. We really appreciate it.
Hey, it's my pleasure, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon. That is Les live from what appears to be a rugged man cabin.
Well, everyone loved that interview, but they're mad we didn't ask about Bigfoot.
Come on. I'm sorry. I wasn't reading the chat as much.
Tom was going on, so he had his thing
going
going
get out of here, Chad. I'm not going to ask a grown man that is a professional.
He did a special. He did a special on Bigfoot.
That's ridiculous. Bigfoot does not exist. They paid him. He said, all right, I'll do it.
Hey, that was a lot of fun. Thanks to the... See...
Yeah,
the library.
OCLS hooked us
I'm gonna
up.
tell you something about the library.
Library's
They
Shout
better
out to
than-
Aaron.
they have only been good to us, and I don't know why.
I know.
They have only been.
I can't even read.
I love.
Don't say
I always question what that place is when I walk by it. What is this
Look
place?
at
Question
that.
what a
You can't
library
read either.
is?
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Stop.
like, what is this place?
Just stop. But I love. They are always helping us out. Thank you, OCLS. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
And again, Les Stroud's book is Wild Outside Around the World with Survivor.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
you
have
can
to
on
grab
Amazon,
that.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to grab that. I'm gonna have to pick that up. That was super cool. All right, where are we at? Where are we at?
That's it. I think we're out of here.
That it? We're
Yeah,
outta
let's
here?
end on a high note. That was
Okay,
great.
Yeah, that was super fun.
So semantics. What do you got going on?
Yeah, me and my husband will be recording this evening for Semantics. That'll come out this Sunday. Go to semanticspodcast.com for everything semantics. You can buy a T-shirt that Tom is wearing if you're watching Twitter.
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
can
show
see
your
that.
titties. Show your titties.
We have.
How muscly does he look?
I'll be
right?
out
He
at
looks
the Brewers Bash in Cocoa Village tomorrow. I think we're going to record our after party out there.
Cocoa
So if you-
Village.
Yeah.
Is that a swingers? What is that?
Yeah, Cocoa Village Brewers Bash.
That sounds
A
fun.
lot of CBEs are going to be volunteering out there.
Nice.
So if you see me out there, come say hi.
And I got the itch for a beer fest. The weather just like I want to walk around with a tiny cup.
Yeah,
it
it
just
should be
feels
good.
right,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Like this weather is tiny cup weather. They can walk around and get a little.
You can sign up for my Patreon, patreon.com/semantics. You can follow me and subscribe on Twitch, twitch.tv/semanticsmedia. And you can come to my 5-year anniversary party for Semantics on February 20th.
You got your own
At Rock Pit Brewing.
beer, son.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
I've seen the go by and
Eric Pabone did the art for that beer can.
Yeah, and
is it going to be only available at Rock
Yes,
Pit?
it's going to be on tap and available in 4-packs.
And will
Cool.
it be released the day of the
Yes,
anniversary?
February 20th. Yep.
February 20th. So write that down.
Perfect.
We're out of town, I think, right?
Yep, you'll be camping.
We'll
with
We'll
be
be
me.
in,
camping.
the-
But I want that beer.
Conveniently always missing
But
my
I want that.
events.
I've been
I'd rather
before.
be at the
I've
brewery.
been. I've taken photos and stuff. I like you. It's Tom that hates you.
Yeah, I
no,
know.
it's the. Listen,
everybody
I'd
for
rather be at Rock Pit enjoying cool beer than out in
Stuck
the
in the
shit
woods. Are you guys going to do Survivor Man out there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my wife
Where
bought
at?
so
Where's
much
this at?
garbage. Like
What did you get?
Oh, my
she bought
wife.
a camping kitchen.
Do you want to hear this?
Camping
My wife
kitchen.
asked his wife how many bins they're taking. Bins.
Of what?
I said, what do you mean bins? I mean, we need one bin of all our stuff. Andrea said that Crystal has 9 bins.
She's got solar lights and the whole thing. I'm
Oh,
like,
she
where-
has a glamping.
She has a
Well,
screen room.
with
She
a bunch
told
of
me she has
garbage.
a skillet for boiling water and all these in a oven.
A camping coffee. She's like, I got a camping coffee
Where's
maker.
this at? Like what? Where?
Peace
Florida?
River. 'Cause
This is not
Yeah.
camping.
Yeah, it's like glamping.
And then they take your stuff down there.
How are you going to take it all?
You
You're going on a
don't.
canoe?
You don't. We used to
They
put
bring-
all our gear in a canoe and then
Yeah,
float down the
we're
river.
used to in our 20s.
Well, what are you doing now?
Well, now it's just like they take you a bus and then you get an empty
A
canoe.
bus?
And then,
Yeah.
And then they bring all the shit in a trailer.
It's
and
what
there's
special needs people do.
There's like porta potties hidden in the woods because
Are there?
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't want potties, dude. Half the thing is shitting in the woods. I had this conversation with Maisie, and she's like, "Does more really come out?" Because
Wait a
I told
minute.
her
Oh yeah.
You're not shitting in the woods?
I am.
Well,
because I
you
told
can.
Maisie that more shit comes out when
Do
you
you
shit
want
in
to
the woods.
give your kids gritters? This
I
is
know,
all
but
scam.
they won't shit.
This
I'm
is
like,
all
oh,
scam.
Okay,
hold it.
Hold on a second.
They'll hold it the whole time.
I'm serious, Sam. I did not know until this minute. There's some bullshit porta potties in the
That's
woods.
bullshit.
And I'm
Why
mad
even
now.
camp? Why are you
I don't
even
want the
camping?
porta potties.
Well, actually, I did. Tommy did diarrhea at school.
Excuse me?
I gave him an old hot dog. It was
You poisoned
I think
him!
that's where we need to leave. I think that's a
It
good
was
idea.
slimy veggie hot dog. And I smelled it. I was
Did he
like,
poop his pants?
is this what this? No, he didn't poop his pants, but he usually doesn't go to the bathroom at school.
But he
and
had
then,
to,
And
yeah.
then he's like, I had to go number 3.
Oh.
And he's like, and then he had to go.
He already knows what a 4 is too.
He didn't want to, but he had to
sometimes
do
you
it.
gotta do what you
because
gotta,
I gave
Survivor
him
Man.
Slimy hot dog.
This is some fake ass camping.
Seth, how do people sign up
Well, if
for
you
your
want
dojo?
your kids to be champions
Oh.
and tournament winners and and post proud things on the BDM page like Riley's father did, then
Yeah.
you could come see me at the dojo, karateoforlando.com or Instagram Karate of Orlando, or find me, whatever, just message me. On
You
one of
okay,
those.
bro? You all right? You sound sad. all
Yeah,
of a
no,
sudden.
no,
What
I'm good.
happened?
I'm good.
What
No,
happened?
what do you mean? No, I'm fine. I'm happy.
Look, it's the
He's
goatee's
mad we
fine.
took time away from him for
The
Les
goatee is
Stroud.
fine. I'm trying to figure out
Any
what's
grand
wrong
there?
with it. I figured it out.
You dye that,
It's,
right?
you know why I figured
No,
it
I don't
out?
tie that.
You know why I figured out what's wrong with it? It is it's a perfect circle.
I know it's
I'm good
too
at
thick.
I'm
No, but it's like
It's the Sandman.
it's just like right here. It's like hello.
Yeah. You gotta shave the top. It's gotta be thinner.
Oh,
No,
man.
the whole point is the top to be thick. That's 70s style when it's real thick up top too.
What's up the 70s?
Well, it is in my head.
And then you had no gray.
He's got a little bit.
Are you crazy?
Okay.
I'm the only person that keeps this shit real because all you other people out there, you
don't
get the
dye
just
shit.
from in, you're brushing it in
I don't
there.
brush anything. I'm natural. I don't dye anything.
It's coming. Right?
It's one good thing. I lost my hair, but I didn't get gray yet.
I noticed that your burns are going up.
I know.
You know, you look like Spider-Man's boss.
Why do I?
Jonah Jameson? What's that? Jenna Jameson.
Some people they like it. You have a gray goatee.
Yeah,
but
I got it right here.
Why did mine start on my burns?
I don't know. Hey, they're going up the side. We're like, I want the scoop on Parka.
That's Johnny Knoxville style. Johnny Knoxville started there.
Yeah.
It just went,
Oh, you could have a sweet,
The
sweet
Wolverine,
Knoxville.
right?
Johnny Knoxville. Poor Johnny Knoxville got that hair now and a colostomy bag. Oh, man. That's a bad way. Why? How'd you get that? What are you famous for? They beating my dick up.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wait a minute. I can't publish that. It's mediocre.